Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Man, we are in the home stretch of 2025 here. And we'll have, two more full weeks of shows. Yeah, 10 more shows. Tomorrow we'll be in single digits, Ben. Okay? Excited about that. A little vacation after that. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer of the program. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
Doing great. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. Benjamin, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited about the end of the year, but I'm also I have some trepidation. I'm a bit of a creature of routine and habit.
Yeah.
Anything that kind of takes me out of my routine spins me out, and
Sure.
I'm already completely spun out this morning.
Yeah, today is actually pretend to be a time traveler day. And I bet if you could, you would go back in time and make some changes. Maybe.
Well, the weekend started. I got trapped in Friday's traffic.
Man.
And I thought I did a fairly good job of going side streets, like Miramar across to Black Mountain Road. I got home in about 2 hours and 40 minutes.
That's
normally about a 35-minute drive.
240.
But I've heard people who took 5 hours to get home on Friday. So that was just a great start to the weekend. And then
there was a jumper up there.
I get that, and I'm not minimizing, obviously, the mental distress. We're all big champions of mental health, but it was a 9-hour closure of the 5 freeway that impacted a lot of people on a Friday afternoon.
They said that the hit to the economy was felt. Like it was really felt. There were people that had to say, I can't come to work
We
tonight.
had to cancel. We were going to go out to dinner for my mother-in-law's birthday. Had to cancel it because it was in Del Mar. They couldn't get there. We couldn't get there.
Wow.
The restaurant said, oh, yeah, we've had tons of cancellations of reservations. It absolutely was a economic hit on Friday.
Yeah, people were like, I can't get home. I can't pick up my kid. Like it was pretty severe. I didn't affect me at all. Not even a little. I was home. We had a football game up in the other direction. But obviously I didn't find out about it till later. But holy smokes, man.
I mean, it started at like 11 a.m. and it didn't end until 7.
9.5 hours?
7:30, yeah.
About 9 hours, yeah.
9 hours. And just the whole time trying to literally talk him down from the ledge.
Which I think they eventually did.
Well,
which
that's
is good.
I'm glad that they did, but holy cow. I mean, yeah, you never know what somebody's going through. That's terrible, but holy smokes, man. 9.5. 9.5. It's a good movie, 9.5 Weeks, with Kim Basinger and Mickey Rourke, if you want to see that. Better 9.5 than that scene out in Del Mar.
But got through that, had a pretty decent weekend. But now I'm all spun out again. So much so that I forgot my wallet this morning, which is really rare. I just walk out the door without your wallet.
Do you need some cash to get you through the day?
No, I mean, you can pay for everything kind of with your phone at this point. So I just worry, is this the day that you get pulled over? You don't have your driver's license with you, like the one time that you needed it and you don't have it, but I'm not going to be able to go back and get it. So.
I thought about that the other day, and I also thought, and I think we've talked about this before, like you just mentioned, everything is on phone. There should be some sort of DMV app, right? That, hey, I have the DMV app, and I've uploaded my legit copy of my driver's license to my phone. And here you go, sir. Forgot my wallet today, which happens. It happens to the best. If I lost my wallet, I'm waiting on a replacement.
Well, they already have that. And it works. It's through the police station. Like they have a way. They know they can look up your name or
That's
your license.
Right. I know my license number. I can give
out.
them my driver's license number. I've got my insurance on my phone.
Would you get banged for?
It's the word. I think it's the stupidest
fix-it ticket
because you're a licensed driver. They can look into their system and see that you are a licensed registered driver in good standing.
Yeah, it's not suspended or anything like that.
The fact that you don't physically have it on you, I've never understood. I think that's the stupidest ticket.
Yeah, there's some reason for it, and I don't know exactly what it is, especially these days. If I don't have to have my debit card or credit card on my person and can go buy a car with my phone, yeah, I was going 45 and a 30. I'll take my ticket. Here's my license.
I'm sure it's an identification, to self-identify yourself.
Yeah.
If you have something else, I don't know.
There's got to be a reason for it. Don't know exactly what it would be to hand over the hard copy of the license. But
people say in the chat
they said
that
you can
do that now. Well, I can look into that before I leave today, and then I'll be covered. But the reason maybe I'm a little spun out, and I've always said that I get nervous when I'm speaking in front of like live groups.
Mm-hmm.
Our tier 1 Navy Craig invited me to speak to his Navy Alumni Association luncheon. They're getting ready for the big Army Navy game.
Yep.
Going to Dave & Buster's this afternoon. Closed event, but I'm going to just be there for an hour answering questions. And I told Craig, and I'm happy to do it. And he's been a big supporter of the show for a long time.
But you're nervous.
He said, have you ever been to the game? I said, no, and I don't really know anything about the history of Army Navy, but if you want me to come and talk about, Padres, general San Diego sports stuff, that's fine, and I will. And he said, no, that's great. And we can take some questions and just have a good conversation. No problem.
So you just wanted like a Q&A.
Yeah,
Hi,
exactly.
I'm Ben Higgins.
Exactly.
Fire your question. What if they don't know who you are?
I think they do. I assume that
Don't assume. That's happened to me before, too.
Well, we'll see. But then Craig sent me this overnight. I woke up to the text with a whole list of Army Navy football game factoids for research and comment. And now I'm all nervous about it, Craig.
Well, give us some stats.
10
Let's
questions and a bonus, and I haven't had time to look any of this up. Let's see. Has Navy ever played the Coast Guard and or the Merchant Marine Academies, Woods?
No.
I don't know. Have they?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, you have to go research
probably
this?
Back in the day. I don't know any of the answers.
He didn't give you the answers to the test?
No, I've got to study on my own.
That's homework.
I've got a 4-hour radio show this morning. Should I leave early just to study my
if you want your
homework?
If you want your throat slit by me, go ahead and leave early for
when
the
was
Army
last time
Navy
the game
luncheon.
ended in a tie?
Oh,
not recently because they don't have ties in college football
1964.
Really?
No, I'm guessing. There's no answers in here.
There's no answers. He did not give me the answer key. Craig, who is W.T. Dorr and Joe Gish? I don't know. That's the bonus question.
The bonus question for what?
I don't know. I didn't know this was a test.
Are you going to get up? All right,
It's that nightmare everyone still has. You just woke up.
And you have a test.
The final. You haven't gone to class all year. You haven't studied. I didn't even know I had a test. I just walked into a test that I didn't know I have. I haven't studied for it. And now I have to take it in front of a whole room full of people who expect me to know all the answers. I'm now very nervous about this.
Yeah, had it just been a Q&A, you have a little food. Hey, it's Ben from the radio. We'll fire questions. What's your morning look like? Right, that's easy. But when you have to go up now and do a presentation that you didn't know you had to do,
right? Then got to give a TED talk on
Navy football, the Army Navy game. Oh my God, man! 2 guys who have never been in my kitchen. Steve Davis. Oh man! Holy crap, man! I'm with you. I would be very nervous. So,
and I assume everyone in that room already knows all these answers because they're, big Navy football alums and fans. It's like, well, I don't want to talk about that. You guys know way more about this than I do. Let's talk about the Padres. Winter meetings are underway.
But why would people at an Army Navy luncheon want to talk about the Padres?
I don't know.
Why are you there?
Me. I wanted to be, I'm trying to do a good thing and be there. So I'm going to be there, and we're going to make the best out of it.
I can't. This is when I wish we had money. We'd send a camera.
Yeah, right.
I'm not doing it. Paulie, you're not doing it.
I'm already sweating just thinking
about it.
Oh,
you're making me sweat. I hate that stuff. I can't. That stuff to me is like, hey, man, I'm happy to come up. And I've done events before, too, where I've showed up and I've said, cool, can I get a look at the script? They're like, oh, we don't have a script. Just wing it. Wing it. Like a 4-hour auction and party, and you want me to wing it. Make sure you get the sponsors in. They're on the table over there. So I am with a pad and a pen. Thank you to Jones Construction. Thank you to the Instant Hydration. Thank you to, and I'm writing them down, and then I get up there and I don't know what I'm doing. So here's good word of advice out there. If you're going to ask somebody to be an MC, like we're not professional MCs. I'm not a professional MC. Professionals get paid to MC. We're not that. Have a script, know the direction that you want this thing to go. I can't tell you. I've done a dozen of those where they're like, sorry, like you're Woods, just go wing it. I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what you want me to do here. Very difficult.
Oh, I forgot to add. Craig says he's got an extra ticket. He'd love for you to come with me
to the luncheon.
For the luncheon,
I can't. I've got so much to do. I got so much.
You're not going to join me
to do today. I think the year of 2026. Remember how a few years ago I had the year of no. that turned into the year of yes, pretty much. 26, I'm standing firm.
The year of no became the summer of yes.
Yeah, the summer of yes. That's exactly right. Fine, I'll do it.
It lasted about 4 months.
I'm back to the year of no in 2026. I think you should also follow in my footsteps. You have a lot going on.
Well, you're San Diego's concierge.
I am.
You're my role model and idol, so I'm just following in your footsteps.
It's
now.
funny too because I realized a few weeks ago, and I told Paulie this. I go, "This is it's funny because now Paulie does a lot of concierge work for me, so he is San Diego's concierge's concierge, which is wild. Like my aunt called me or texted me and said." She watches every day from Texas. My grandmother watches, my parents watch, and they all wanted t-shirts. And I said, okay. And I didn't want to be like, here's the link, enjoy. You know what I mean? So I text Paulie. I go, hey, can we get, because he's got the account, and I was like, I don't know how this works. Here's their address. Can you just send them a shirt? So Paulie's like, sure, no problem. So now Paulie is San Diego's concierge's concierge. I'll often have Paulie print things for me because, as you know, I'm not allowed to print anything ever. Happened again this weekend. I had something I had to print.
We have Paulie do way too much.
Yeah.
Like assistant work that he shouldn't have to do, but he realizes that it won't get done because neither of us are competent enough to do it ourselves.
Pretty much.
And he is here. That's why he's invaluable.
Yeah, he is absolutely invaluable. But now we have.
It's honestly like second nature.
Well, here's the thing.
I'll be at home and you guys will task me with something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And Megan will go, oh my God, you get it at work too. Like I do the same thing. I ask you to do this and then you go to work and they ask you to do this. She's like, is that just your life? I'm like, maybe.
But here's the thing.
I'm good. I'm good with it.
It's going to be the year of no for me, but it needs to continue to be the year of yes for you. I can't have you taking the same hardline stance that I'm taking in 26, Paulie. Okay?
To quote the great Julius Campbell in Remember the Titans, attitude reflect leadership. Captain.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. So I need you to continue to say yes to my every whim and fancy, whilst I learn to be better about saying no, I'm unavailable. Okay? Does that sound fair?
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Well, listen, have a great time.
Thank you.
At the luncheon.
How was your weekend?
It was okay. We lost in football. We got our balls kicked in on baseball on Saturday. That wasn't great. Bo had a great game. He had fun playing with his friends. And then yesterday was chill. It was like one of those days. I mean, it was chill other than the sports news that came out that almost killed me. But other than that, it was fine. The day, it was one of those Sundays where you looked up and you're like, because I got up yesterday. I went to the gym early and I wanted to get that knocked out. So I did. And I got home. I went to the grocery store, got all the stuff. And I got home and I was like, oh my God, it's like 9:45. And then 6 hours went by and I look at my watch. It was noon. And I'm like, this day's taking forever. Like it just dragged and dragged. Hannah was gone. She had work. So
Isn't that what you want Sunday to do? Like a nice, slow, lazy Sunday.
I kind of wanted to jam through it. And you know, like we had a good weekend. It was good to get back. The kids were excellent. They're in full Christmas spirit, and we went to the holiday parade on
that's
on
right,
Saturday.
the
So
Encinitas parade.
Let's talk parades. You guys know how I feel about parades. I married into a real hardcore parade loving family, and I've always feel like a bit of a butt because I don't like stuff like that. It makes me feel like an a-hole, and I wrestle with myself that it's just one of those things I need to suck up and be better about.
I
doing.
don't understand why you wouldn't enjoy watching someone else's kids in their Boy and Girl Scout troop walk down a street.
For me, I like seeing the city council members is my favorite. Hey, how you doing? Everything sucks, by the way. These roads are trash. Hey, can anybody fix our baseball field? Anybody? No? Okay, cool. Good to see you in your Woody going down the street. Oh, you have a brand new Woody? You know, the surf cars.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Cool, man. Good to see you. Throwing candy canes at us. So for me, I had to look deep inside and just say, my kids love it. My wife loves it. Suck it up, pal. Suck it up, Buttercup. So I Minor protest, minor grousing about it, very minor for me. And then we get in to the Ben bus. We drove the Ben bus down.
Did you drive? Because I was around the area and it looked like people were parking at your house to walk to the parade.
Fair enough, because as we started to drive down, we get in bumper to bumper traffic. And I'm like, and so I'm trying to be calm and chill. We've got 4 kids. We got a couple neighborhood kids and my kids in the back. They're screaming 6-7, 6-7, the whole thing in the back. So I just kind of sucked it up, played on my phone, just kind of waited, finally found parking. Finally had to pretty much grease a guy to let us pull down this alley. And I mean, it was pretty severe.
You had to pretty much grease him, or you had to grease him?
I pretty much had to grease. I greased him to get down this alley.
Plausible deniability.
Yeah. So we get all set up. And then once we got our good spot, it was pretty good. But something happened to me that has happened to me for the last 5 parades every year. We ran home from the baseball game. Like, had a scream. We have 10 minutes, 10 minutes to change and be ready. I'm like, so there's no time to eat. So every year this happens to me where I go, I'll just get something down there. Bro. The lines for a restaurant out the door. I mean, I'm seeing these guys walking around with huge pizzas. I'm like, how'd you get those? Like, about an hour and a half, 2-hour wait over there if you want. I'm like, ah! I looked at Hannah. I go, did you bring any snacks? She goes, no, I didn't. I'm like, what are we supposed to do? So I'm eating candy canes that they're throwing at me for my dinner. Finally, this restaurant across the street opened up, and it
Picking
was
them up off the ground.
Yeah,
they're broken
100%.
in the plastic.
Sprinkle it in your mouth.
Right.
But my kids are like, Dad, we're hungry. I'm like, eat the M&Ms that they just threw. I don't know what to do. So I finally found a restaurant that was open. It was not ideal. It wasn't my favorite. It was very healthy and very healthy. So we got that. It was okay. So we got through it. But, listen, it was pretty cool. My kids loved it. They got to walk with their little league. So I followed behind them, and they got to slap 5 and, do that. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed myself. Once we got in there and got parked, it was great. But other than that, it was pretty low key. It was a good, fun family holiday weekend.
Did you go up to the Rose Parade a few years ago? Did you ever do that with Hannah? You've never done that?
No, she tried to get me to Balboa Nights one time, and I think we were going to go. December nights. Yeah. And we looked at the traffic from where we live, and they're like, it'd be about 4.5 hours to get in there. I was like,
that opened on Friday night down at Balboa with all of the traffic.
Right. All the traffic.
So anybody in North County that was planning on going to December nights, I don't think you made it. But between the traffic on the freeway, December nights, I didn't leave the house.
The funny thing too was every float that went by with kids. So there's my kids, a couple neighborhood kids, they're homies.
They actually had floats in this parade.
Yeah, well, the
pickup trucks.
Pickup truck.
Okay.
And some of them had floats. Like Sunbum had a really good float. It was cool. It was like a moving tiki hut. It was kind of cool. Yeah, they some guys went all out. But every kid on the float was looking at the kids, and they're all doing 6-7. So my kids would yell 6-7, and they would go, yeah, 6-7, 6-7. The whole parade was just little kids yelling 6-7. And I was like, man, Christmas has changed from when I was a little kid. So that's it. 6-7, 6-7 from the thing. So that's really what it was. It was cute. It was fun. We did it. It was great. And that was that. I mean, nothing major went down. Paulie, about you? Just chilled?
Very chill.
Very chill. Paulie always has chill weekends. It's what happens when you don't have 2 little dudes that you got to run around. I mean, I had like an Uber driver / food delivery. We were in San Marcos playing baseball. We were up in Carlsbad playing football. We were running around like crazy. And then just took care of a lot of business yesterday. It was a nice, relaxing Sunday, but it was long. It was long. And when you got those kids, you got to make sure they're entertained or staying out of trouble or whatever. It was good. It's good to be back to work today. We got a lot to talk about. We got a couple of guests today as well. I'm doing my best to be really zen, and I'm not feeling very zen about my Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that. Well, let me set the menu quickly. You mentioned the guests. Why don't we just do that right now? Because it is winter meetings underway in Orlando. Our Sam Levitt is there. He is going to join us every morning of today through Wednesday with all the breaking news conferences, any rumors that he's hearing on the ground there in Florida at baseball's biggest offseason meeting where you get all kinds of usually news or at least ideas that come out of there. Sam is going to join us at 7:35 on our David P. Shapiro fan hotline, and then we'll have Craig Elsten for his normal Monday feature at 8:35, where we can talk more Padres as well coming up. We also had the World Cup draw that happened on Friday. He can get us. I know.
Feels like it was a month ago.
It didn't really happen until after the show. It started at 9, but
That's
it was like 11 or so by the time they actually got to all the names and the countries. So he can give us a little thought on the world from soccer. Seems like we did well in the draw. Everyone was saying it's pretty favorable draw for Team USA at the World Cup. Going to face Paraguay and Australia and a playoff winner yet to be determined. But we can talk with Craig Elsten about that at 8:35. Plus, we'll do all of our normal features like Don't Do This, Take on Woods, our biggest fan announcement, and our Reindl Report between now and 10 o'clock. But we will talk about the college football playoff stunner yesterday. And I don't think Woods is being a homer or just a Notre Dame fan when he says that was out of left field.
It was nuts. I was really surprised. Well, and to have you defend me a little bit on Friday, and we were texting about it a little bit yesterday. I'm not going to get all in the weeds about it, man. It's one of those things. It's so out of your control as a fan, right? Just out of your control. You're just like, oh, this sucks. I think it was a travesty, but I'm not going to, there's bigger travesties in the world. The Irish not making the playoffs. I'm trying to have a good perspective about it. I really wanted to watch that team try to go on another run like they did just a year ago, beating some really good teams and leading to a national championship game. And to not have that opportunity is a wild one.
Also had a fairly shocking a little rumor drop from Dennis Lynn just a few minutes ago. Don't know whether I'm going to believe it entirely, but involving the Padres, Nick Pivetta. We'll tell you about that coming up as well. Let's get things started on a Monday morning. Tier 1's getting closer to the holidays. Glad to have you with us here with Ben, Woods, and Paul on San Diego's #1 sports station. Let's get our first check of traffic this morning with Kelly Danick after we tell you about 7 Mile Casino.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, played at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Got the in-laws in for the holidays. Need an activity or an event to go for a few hours. Maybe get something to eat. 7 Mile Casino is always a great option if you're in-laws or, card players and enjoy some Texas Hold'em, California-style blackjack, baccarat, or Pai Gow poker. San Diego's best card room is such a short drive away.
Might I also suggest it's a great place to get away from the in-laws.
That's true, too.
Go play some cards and have some food and a couple of drinks with some buddies. Just a great place, regardless of when you go. Morning, noon, afternoon, night. It's open 24/7, 365. So you can go on Christmas Day if you want to play some California-style blackjack. But yeah, this break, I'd like to get down there, man, with a couple of weeks off, go down and play some cards. I've really had the Jones to play some blackjack. But knowing that it's right there, it's just 7 minutes from downtown. They make it so easy. It's a smoke-free environment as well. Good food, friendly dealers. The proximity is clutch.
Sun's been out lately. Enjoy the patio right there on San Diego Bay at Sammy. So many different reasons to check it out, but the proximity being #1. 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Got our first signing from baseball's winter meetings reported this morning. Jeff
Busy
Passan,
morning.
Ken Rosenthal. Right-hander Mike Soroka in agreement with the Arizona Diamondbacks on a one-year contract pending a physical. Hadn't mentioned his name with the Padres, but that's the kind of deal that I would certainly think the Padres are looking at. One,
You better get used to, right?
well, I would certainly think that that's the kind of name that you could use to fill out a starting rotation, which the Padres absolutely need to do. Now, the interesting rumor that Dennis Lin is writing about this morning in The Athletic involving the Padres, and I want to bring this up right away before we talk college football. Dennis Lin writing, as he embarks on his 12th winter meetings as general manager, A.J. Preller seemingly has to move money to address the Padres' needs for multiple starting pitchers and a bat. The list of possible trade candidates includes the top starting pitcher in a thin rotation. Quote, the Padres have shown a willingness to entertain offers for Nick Pivetta, which is quite shocking when you think about the fact that the Padres only have, 3 or 4 established starting pitchers at most. Why would they consider trading the guy who was their best pitcher last season?
You trade him and get 2 in return. I don't know. It seems absurd to me to rob Peter to pay Peter. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like Nick Pivetta is you read articles like this and it just takes a little bit of the air out of the balloon, does it not? Like you get a little deflated when you read it and you go, okay, clearly these guys aren't shopping in the big boy aisle anymore. You trade Nick Pivetta, that signals to me, yeah, we're not really trying to win. when you trade your the guy who should be starting opening day against Tarek Skubal if he's still a Detroit Tiger. It doesn't signal we're in it to win it, guys. And yeah, you feel a little bit deflated when these articles come out.
Well, I would say that Dennis does say that a trade is not considered likely.
So why write the article?
Well, you have to write something. You're covering the winter meetings. That's your team. What's the news? And I don't doubt that other teams have called and asked, because Nick Pivetta is almost certainly going to opt out if he has a decent season at the end of this year. And any player going into their last year of their contract has to be fair game to listen to at least what other teams have to say.
So, yeah, I mean, and again, I think, AJ Preller fields a lot of calls about a lot of players. And I think Nick Pivetta, if you're an opposing team and you're like, hey, man, we feel like we are a starter away from
we're
really
willing to overpay for that starter.
Overpay for that starter. Of course, you got to listen.
So I'm not surprised that they're listening. I would assume that this news comes from other teams that have said, yeah, we called AJ Preller about Nick Pivetta, had a brief discussion about it. So it's not, I'm sure he's not making this up, but, the willingness of AJ Preller to deal Nick Pivetta, I would think, is extremely low. But, his salary goes up. He only got paid $1 million last year. It's going to $19 million this year. If you think you got the very best out of Nick Pivetta last year, and you've got a sell high possibility where you feel like, hey, we can get, 2 or 3 years of control for a couple of younger starting pitchers that we like almost as much as Nick Pivetta, then you listen to that. You absolutely listen to that. You may not pull the trigger on a trade, but you can listen to that.
Absolutely. And I think we hear it as fans and we go, oh, cool. Like, you don't want to pay him $19 million because you don't have $19 million to spend. And so you're going to throw him out there and hope somebody overpays on a couple of pitching prospects, or maybe one guy that's maybe a back end of the rotation guy that could slot right in. Sure, absolutely. I think that's a smart thing to do in business, is you have to listen. But if they do end up moving Pivetta, yeah, man, it takes some wind out of the sails.
I can guarantee you, because I know AJ Preller well enough, that whatever his budget is for this season, he's going to use every penny of it to try to make the Padres the best team possible on the field.
Yeah.
And he will explore every avenue that takes. And if he thinks that $19 million he was going to pay Nick Pivetta could actually make the team better in another way with a trade and signing someone else, then he will consider that. Heartlessly, he will consider that, because he will do what it takes to try to make the Padres a better team. If he doesn't think the Padres will be better by trading Nick Pivetta, then he's not going to trade Nick Pivetta. He'll keep Nick Pivetta. That's how AJ Preller operates, and that's how he's operating at this winter meetings. What his budget is, we don't know. And the Padres will never tell us exactly what his budget is. They will, in fact, they've said many times that budget is a very living organism that, breathes and grows and contracts as opportunities arise and, different circumstances come up. They will continually talk about what makes sense for the Padres going forward. But I don't see this as like a reason to hit the panic button that, this Padres offseason is already off to a terrible start.
No, I mean, nothing's happening.
They're listening to phone conversations about Nick Pivetta.
No, again, I think it's when you add it all up, all the ingredients with the potential sale, as they mentioned in here, the lawsuit. Fangraphs projects the Padres payroll at $201 million. Will that be top 10 in payroll, as Eric Grupner has promised several times that they will stay in the top 10? And I think, as a fan in San Diego for the San Diego Padres, if you promise that you're going to stay in the top 10 and you deliver on that, I'll take my chances. That makes me, like, as a fan, I go, yeah, man, we're top 10 in payroll. Like, would I love to be top 5? Sure. Could we get back there? Yeah, but not until we get a new owner. I think we all have to couch any fantasies of that until there's a new owner and they have their feet, firmly entrenched in this thing and figure out what they want to do. But the other part of the article that you didn't mention is that, again, he just kind of throws in executives around the sport, which we've been hearing for a long time. We've been hearing this rumor for 4 years. Executives around the sport believe the Padres eventually will be forced to consider trading Fernando Tatis Jr. He is far more movable than San Diego infielders Machado and Bogarts. The trio will combine to make more than $90 million annually beginning in 2027. For now, their plan is to keep Tatis, which I think is a smart plan, unless you want a literal revolt down at Petco Park. He also has full no trade protection. So, yeah, I think I think that when you throw that in there, yeah, man, again, the balloon analogy is what I'm going to ride with.
Remember, executives around the sport,
They want that to happen.
have always, has always dreamed on that. And they hope the Padres are in such bad shape and poor financial condition that they're forced to do something desperate like that because they want to take advantage of it. And they really don't want to believe that the Padres can play with the big boys because they keep telling their fan bases that we can't do that.
Correct.
So they desperately want to believe that the Padres can't sustain, a top 10 payroll for extended periods of time because it makes them look bad. So
of course, and they said it.
They
publicly.
always suggest that the Padres are going to have a reckoning very soon, and they're not going to be able to keep doing this. And
we can't we cannot continue to pee at the big boys urinal until there's a new owner. It's very clear. This ownership group as it stands today is not going to go out and go ham in free agent. There's just not in free agency. They're not going to do it. And as much as that bothers me, I guess I understand it. You're trying to get rid of this asset that you have. You're not going to spend a bunch of the money to do it. So I understand it from a business perspective. The fan in me hates it, but I do think that they need to figure out a way to get creative, try to make some semblance of a run in the beginning, and then see where you stand at the deadline, and then let AJ work his magic as he always does at the deadline and make another run. That's really, you've backed yourself into this corner. And until you have a new ownership group, Ben, that decides what they want to do and how much money they want to spend, this is kind of the reality.
Here's what Eric Grupner said on this program about the Padres payroll going forward.
Every resource that we have, every dollar that we generate above what obviously the expenses of operating the team in the ballpark, all of that's going to go into fielding the most competitive team we can, which means we're going to take payroll as high as we possibly can take it. We were a top 10 payroll this last year, and we've been a little bit higher than that in a couple of the prior years. We've consistently been in the top 10 payroll in baseball. And we believe that if we can continue to stay in that top, tertile or top 10 of payroll in Major League Baseball, that with the skills that AJ and his team bring to bear and the players that we have under contract and have committed to that form the core of this team, we have everything that we need to win a World Series championship.
So, and I believe what he's saying. Now, the other part of that that's unsaid is just staying in the top 10 of payroll doesn't mean you can address and fill every roster need that you have by going out and signing free agents. They're already going to be in the top 10 of payroll. There's not much they can do to stop that, outside of a fire sale, which is not going to happen.
It's impossible.
They're going to be in the
it
is impossible. They're going to be in the top 10 of payroll, even if they don't make a lot of moves this offseason. They will still be there. And you as a fan may be disappointed with what you perceive as the lack of activity from your team at the winter meetings in the offseason. And they'll still be able to say, but we're still, 7th or 8th in overall payroll. And we think that should be enough for us to, compete for a World Series title. And if AJ does his job well, as he's done the last couple of years, should be enough to get them there. If he does it poorly, then, they will take a step back. And I think that's kind of where we're heading.
Yeah. And the Tatis rumor drives me crazy because that's the one that makes the least amount of sense. A cornerstone player that, again, based on how salaries are going in Major League Baseball right now, is a bargain. It's a good contract for the San Diego Padres. The Xander contract and the Manny contract are not. They're not good contracts. And every team's got those albatrosses around their neck that they have to wear. Almost every team has those. I mean, there's ones that are way worse, way worse. A Rendon, a Chris Bryant. At least you get production from those guys. There's production. Manny plays 150 plus games every year and hits almost 30 homers every year. Like, you're getting production. They're not that bad, but as they get older, they're going to look even worse and they get a little bit more expensive. So you got to find a way, man, to get some young talent in here that's controllable and affordable. Because if you're AJ Preller, man, you're going to these winter meetings going, I got a plethora of things that I need and I don't have a dime to spend for the most part. I'm going to have to move guys potentially like Nick Pivetta. I hope it doesn't happen. To me, that signals, yeah, we're in dire financial need. And, I'm all about trying to do something smart. there's opportunities to sell high on players. Gavin Sheets is a guy you could sell high on. Estrada is a guy you could sell high on. I don't know how much that's going to help your bottom line, but can it help your team improve? Maybe. So that's what he's trying to identify out in Orlando.
We'll have more on this when Sam Levitt joins us from the winter meetings in Orlando, coming up at 7:35 this morning. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings, certificates, and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates. Open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. Now, as for the other big story from sports yesterday, the college football playoff drama. See how Woods reacted when he found out that Notre Dame missed the playoffs entirely, and the shockwaves that sent through college football right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Just one problem, guys. Emergency crews are on scene of this collision on the Ted Williams Parkway off-ramp northbound 15, so just take it extra carefully there. Whether you're dashing through San Diego or heading out of town, make sure your car's in the game. Friendly text at Valvoline Instant Oil Change will check your lights, wipers, tire pressure, battery, and more with every oil change. Grab holiday savings now at SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I've got to say that the point of telegraphing something is to get everybody ready for the disappointment that's going to come. And they telegraphed disappointment in the college football playoff rankings week to week. They telegraphed it to Miami. Miami, get ready to be disappointed when the final rankings are announced, because we have you consistently behind Notre Dame
for five weeks, 6 weeks.
And I think if they had left Miami out of the playoff, there certainly would have been grumbling and arguments about why would you leave a team out? They beat Notre Dame
head to head.
But it was what they had said all season long. To flip it at the last minute on the last rankings and just say, oh, but now we think Miami's ahead of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I charged them to go back and watch that game one more time. And after watching it, we decided we've gotten it wrong for the last 5-6 weeks.
The first Tuesday night rankings of the year, 6 weeks ago or whatever, that's all for television.
Right.
And the week after, it's all for television. It's a Tuesday night show on ESPN. The last rankings, though, the last Tuesday, those are the ones that matter.
Those are the ones that really matter.
A lot of those teams may not be playing that weekend, so it's kind of like this is the last say on where we think Notre Dame and Miami rank.
Yeah.
Both teams not having a game.
And again, like you saw how Miami, they beat the Irish. What was always interesting, I just pour the salt in the wound. You saw Saban talking about it, and he said, oh, Notre Dame got their ass kicked. They literally lost on a last-second field goal. Literally. They lost on a last-second field. Were they dominated on the line of scrimmage? Some, sure. Did they stop Jeremiah Love? Yeah, absolutely. He got 10 carries for 33 yards, his worst game of the year. But to say that they got their teeth kicked in by a team head-to-head when they lost by a field goal is crazy on the last play of the game. So that was like, all right, I could see a Miami's beat. Miami improved dramatically. They started boat racing teams. They started, they're running it up in the fourth, which they should have done. Good move. Like, it got you in the playoffs. Great. I have no problem with it. I think it's probably very smart. But then to flip-flop two teams that were idle made no sense to me. And it's Bama. Bama is we were all yelling at each other, Notre Dame and Miami fans, when we all should have been yelling at Bama and the corrupt ESPN SEC contract that's going on right now. They got how many teams in the playoff 6? Sankey said he wanted 7. 5. And he got his teams protected. It's as dirty as it can be. I mean, they got beaten by Florida State, and then they got boat raced in the conference championship, and they were 2-2 in the last 4 weeks. So Bama does not deserve to be in. They just don't.
I certainly think the elegant solution after Bama lost by so much, they gave the committee a nice little out to drop Bama and put in both Notre Dame and Miami. Of course, they didn't do that, and the main argument is that you're basically telling Alabama, if you had just missed the plane and not shown up for the SEC championship, you would have been in easily. Yeah. But because you actually showed up for that game, you got into that game and you tried to play it, and you had a bad day, now your season is over. And I do see the illogic of going, so you're going to penalize a team for actually getting to their conference championship game and having to play in it, where you're going to reward a team like Miami who didn't even get. What if Miami had played in their conference championship game and gotten lost to Duke? Then they would have not been in the playoff as well. You would have been punishing them for making the champion. Instead, you rewarded them for not making their championship game, which doesn't make a lot of sense either. Notre Dame doesn't have a championship game to play in. They can be neither punished nor rewarded for it for not being in it in the first place.
The committee was kind of screwed this year, and it's going to have repercussions for years to come. They're going to have to tweak things around and change the format, expand it. They're going to have to figure something out where this doesn't.
I mean,
happening.
it's very easy to say. Well, if you just had 16 teams, you could have had Notre Dame, Texas, and Vanderbilt all in, and probably no one's complaining at the end.
No, but then you have.
I would also argue if you went back to a 4-team playoff this year, is anyone really mad about the 4 teams at the top that were the bye teams? And
Ohio
everyone
State,
else,
Georgia, Indiana,
and Texas Tech.
Not at all.
And then Oregon after that is at 5, and I'm going, if you left them out,
Sorry, you get the Rose Bowl.
yeah, it wouldn't have killed me. 4 would have been a good number this year. It would have been a fair number. But you can't pick the number at the end of the season. I made that suggestion last week. Maybe you just wait until the end and go, this year's playoff number,
8.
drum roll, is 8. 8 is 12.
Like,
is 16.
we're looking at the numbers. 9.
Is 4. Is 2. There were 2 undefeated teams at the end of the season. We're just playing them in the championship game. And you kind of just make the determination at the end. Of course, they will never do that because you have to have a system and you have to have automatic berths and everything. And it's just not going to work.
The committee, it's a tough job that they have. There's no doubt. It's absolutely a tough job. I am sympathetic to that job. But Alabama getting double credit for their biggest win of the year in the first game against Georgia. Double credit. I mean, basically, because they won that game, they got killed in the conference championship, but at least they played one. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. They had -3 rushing yards. I mean, they were a bad football team the last month of the season. When all these rankings started coming out, they were a bad football team. That's the part for me. When I woke up yesterday morning, my favorite team was had the 4th best odds to win a national title. The 4th best odds, and they're out. They're not going. So that didn't make a lot of sense. I slept on it. Listen, it's not the end of the world. But it didn't make a lot of sense.
The explanation from Hunter Yurachek, he got a lot of TV time this weekend, the college football selection committee chair. When you think about it, never really made any sense. He claimed that when BYU lost, and that moved Miami and Notre Dame right next to each other, then they had to really look closer at the head-to-head matchup.
The game.
Here's the thing. So had BYU won, Notre Dame would have been out anyway because BYU would have been in and Texas Tech wouldn't have dropped out. So both of those teams would have been out had BYU won. But you're saying because BYU lost and pushed them together, which you knew was going to happen one way or the other, then you were going to flip it. So you were always setting you were always setting Notre Dame up to be completely blindsided. No matter what happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
BYU won, you would have been knocked out.
Yep.
Had BYU lost, you would have been knocked out. They were always being set up to be blindsided at the end of the season. And I do agree with Gator Padre. If Duke doesn't win the ACC, Notre Dame stays in front of Miami because they didn't want to leave the ACC out. And that's politics. That is college football politics, pure and simple. And I agree that they wanted to make sure an ACC team, and if it was Virginia, sorry, Miami, Virginia's our team. But
they won their conference.
We can't put Duke in, though. They have 5 losses. So we got to find a way to get Miami into the tournament. And I think that's how, if you want to call it rigged, that's how it was rigged. They wanted to make sure one of their big 4 conferences was represented.
7 of the 12 college football teams did not win their conference. 7 of the 12. Of those 7 teams, 5 did not even play in their conference championship game. Joining a conference for the Irish wouldn't have done any good. It was just a decision to keep them out, and we saw Alabama sandwiched in that safe spot last week. Didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter what happened. -3 rushing yards, 2-2 in their last 4, limping down the stretch, and they're in the playoffs. It doesn't make sense to me. Now, watch them go on some ridiculous run in the playoffs. But, it was a tough pill to swallow, but I'm over it. I like a motivated Coach Freeman for next season.
I do. On the other side of this, I want to get your thoughts on Notre Dame skipping their bowl game. That caused a huge outroar.
Of course.
And what do we do about Tulane and James Madison?
You just watch and enjoy.
And by the way, the greatest thing I watched all weekend, Indiana, Ohio State.
Oh, it's
We
incredible
talk all
game.
of that next on the Fan. Indiana football, I agree with the pundits, has to be one of the great sports stories this century. I didn't really realize some of the numbers before I was watching that game, and I sat down and watched the entire Big Ten championship game on Saturday night. That Indiana has the second most losses in football in college football history. And of course, Ohio State has the second most wins in college football history. They had dominated. They won 30 straight against Indiana. Ohio State had. Indiana hadn't won a Big Ten since 1945, like 80 years.
When that graphic popped up on the screen, I was like, you put the wrong numbers in. There's no way. The dominance from Ohio State against Indiana and what Cignetti has done in Indiana is staggering. It's staggering. And so somebody tweeted like, look what happened when teams figured out that they could pay players. It seems that Indiana was the only team for many years that didn't know you could pay players. Like Coach O told us on Friday, through the back door instead of the front door. Oh my God. I thought Ohio State was going to win that game by double digits. I really did. And I was absolutely wrong. Now, those teams will meet again, yeah?
Well, they have them as they would have to be in the championship, right? Because Indiana's the number 1 overall seed, and Ohio State's number 3, right? So the only way they would meet is if they both got to the championship game, which would be an exciting rematch if it does come to it. I think the SEC will have something to say about that, obviously. Be surprised if no SEC team got to the championship game, but
neither did last year. It didn't happen.
I'd be very intrigued by a rematch between Indiana and Ohio State. I enjoyed watching that game immensely.
That was really good. It was really good. I only caught the last. I caught like the last 4 minutes of the game, which was pretty much all you needed. I mean, it was fantastic.
It was low scoring, but it wasn't ugly.
Yeah, 13-10, right? Was that the final? And it's like usually those are kind of turdish, but
you felt it was just big plays, big hits. It felt like an NFL playoff game.
No, Ohio State's number 2, so but they would only meet in the championship game.
Got it.
Yeah. So that, and Fernando Mendoza, who probably wrapped up the Heisman Trophy, they will finish the voting today, and we'll find out next week who's the Heisman Trophy winner and champion. Probably gets it with that win over Julian Sayin, the quarterback from Carlsbad at Ohio State. I didn't think he had a bad. I mean, he had his team set up for a game-tying field goal. His kicker missed it, so otherwise they would have gone to overtime. They might still be playing that game. Who knows? Chip shot field goal.
Yep.
But Fernando Mendoza made that unbelievable pass for the final first down so they could run out the clock over the top. Just absolutely perfect. Dropped it in there. Perfect. And I thought that was the moment he won the Heisman Trophy.
That kid got that jump off the line, and he put it in the most perfect spot you could put it. Kid made a great play on it as well, but he had a step. It was a hell of a game. And you have to be happy for IU. That's a staggering turnaround in college football. And it does lead you to believe that, hey man, with the right personnel and the right coach, whatever. I don't like Curt Cignetti, but I sure as hell respect him. I'd love him if he was my coach, right? He's one of those guys.
He's brash,
100%. Look at all the games the Irish won last year. Beating them was really like special. The Battle of Indiana, certainly. So it was good. It was good. They're a really good team. They could absolutely win the whole thing, which would be insane.
So Paul asked the question before the break. What do you feel about Notre Dame's decision? And I don't want to use any words to describe it or color it before you say what your piece is.
Well,
not playing a bowl game at all.
I think the simpleton comment is, oh, look who took their ball and went home. I do. I think that's the comment of a simpleton. Because when that network has campaigned against you avidly for 4 weeks on the air, and then did the old rug pull on you at the last minute, to then go, yeah, man, I'd love to play in your first 2 out bowl game that you guys will get ratings and money for. I thought it was honestly, Benny, and I think you know me well enough to know that that's kind of my personality. I'm not going to be a cuck for someone. I'm just not. I'm absolutely going to tell you, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing it. I've fought many, many battles in this building, as you know. If I didn't feel like it was right, I will go fight that battle. And you know that about me. So I didn't have one bit of problem with this. The only thing that bummed me out is, we got young players. that could absolutely benefit from the extra practice of next season, getting them ready for next season. But to go play for ESPN in the Pop-Tart Bowl, my favorite part is everyone coming to the defense and the sanctity of the Pop-Tart Bowl now, when they couldn't have given a rat's ass any other time about the sanctity of these meaningless bowl games. And that's, in fact, what they are if you're a playoff contending team. And a team that you thought that you should have been in the playoffs. Now,
isn't the best way to handle it, though,
is to go beat BYU? What does that
play
prove?
The game.
What does that prove? With none of your seniors playing because they want to go to the NFL, what does that prove?
Get you some money.
They don't some money.
Turning down the money makes it a principled stand, in my opinion, saying I'm not going to I don't want your money, and you don't get the ratings from our team playing. I loved it. I thought it was a power move by one of the only,
arrogant for sure.
One of the only schools that can pull it off.
You can like it or you can not like it. It is very arrogant to turn down a big money bowl game on national television, and as you said, the ability to work with your team for
kids.
another 3 weeks with practices and give the kids what is usually a pretty fun experience going to a bowl game. Most of them enjoy it.
Well, again,
they treat
players
them really well at all these games.
This wasn't
gift packages and everything.
Oh, you get a whole bunch of Pop-Tarts. BFD, they were supposed to play for a national championship. You're going to give these guys Pop-Tarts? Since when does everyone care about the Pop-Tart bowl?
Everybody loves Pop-Tarts.
Give me a break.
If you're out of Pop-Tart, pretty good.
Pop-Tarts are good.
Yeah, I get it. But you know what's better? A national title and being one of the top 4 teams to contend for it, especially by the odds. And then saying, hey, man, no, we're not going to go play in your bowl, ESPN. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, that's, again, the players voted on it. This wasn't a AD decision saying, we're not doing this. They put it to the seniors. The seniors voted, and they said, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to go on that network that legitimately campaigned against them and pulled the rug on them on the last day, which is exactly what they did. You can hate Notre Dame, whatever. You can't deny that. You even said it. It's exactly what they did. They strung them along for 5 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
They strung them along, and then you want them to go. You want them to go. Oh yeah, we'd love to play in the Cuck Bowl. Where's our chair? We'll go sit in the chair and smoke cigarettes and watch you guys. Like, it makes no sense.
Why does any team play in any bowl game then that's not the playoff?
Because again, I think some of these programs have to do it. They have to do it. They're like, we need the $6 million.
Yeah.
Notre Dame's like, we're not taking your money, but we're also not playing in your bowl.
Again, that's arrogant.
It's principle.
So much money that you can say no to that.
Now, you've alluded to it and outright said it a couple of times this morning. The collusion, maybe even like you're alluding to, right? ESPN and the SEC, Alabama getting in. I don't disagree with you.
They have a huge contract with each other.
100%. There were also reports from, I think it was Yahoo Sports. They were saying that starting next year, Notre Dame has it written into their contracts.
He reported that when it came out.
That they have to make the college football playoffs if they're top 12. Isn't that sketchy too?
No, I mean, they reported that when, remember, you reported that. I remember you telling me about that last year when they did the expansion.
I think it was like earlier this year, in the offseason.
When they did the expansion, hey, finish top 12 and you're in the playoffs, which again, I think that's a fair, if you're Notre Dame and you finish in the top 12, you should be in the playoffs.
I guess, isn't that like preferential treatment? Like, why wouldn't every school put that into their contracts or whatever?
I don't think every school's going to get the sign off on that. Paulie, it's the nature of the situation. Like, is it arrogant to say that Notre Dame is a big, successful program that can handle independence? Is that arrogant, or is that just the truth? The truth stings sometimes, that all things are not equal. They're not.
Would you say being in a conference or not being in a conference has helped more or hurt more over the years?
I mean, they made the national championship game last year. They're not in a conference. Last year. They did it last year. They don't need a conference to be successful.
I'm not arguing.
Look at Miami. They didn't even play in their conference.
Notre Dame is a very good team. They were playing well. I think they could have won the national championship. I do believe that trying to get through an SEC schedule is a much more daunting task than any other conference's schedule. Big Ten is close. And after that, it's a huge drop-off, whether it's Notre Dame's schedule or an ACC schedule or even a Big 12 schedule. It's just not the same. A record is not the same value if you go 10-2 against an independent schedule or a Big 12 schedule or an ACC schedule as it is when you have to play an SEC or Big 10 schedule. The conferences have become so separated talent-wise with the two big ones and everybody else that you can't even compare them anymore. And that's the big problem, is that SEC and Big Ten are playing different sorts of football and schedules. Now, Notre Dame, I think, is as good as many of those teams and could probably do well, but they can't put together a resume like those schools because they don't play unless you schedule. They schedule 5 SEC teams every year and then 2 or 3 Big Ten teams. You're never going to be able to compare schedule-wise to those conferences that have to play those schedules every year.
Yeah, Notre Dame, though, also, think about this. Like, I looked at their schedule for next year, and it's not a world beater by any stretch. You got Miami, you got USC, who's trying to back out of that deal. Miami's now talking about maybe dropping. They're made so far in advance. They also have to, because of the national fan base, they have to play neutral site games a lot. They play in a lot of NFL stadiums and places like that. They're willing to do it because they want to keep their independence. Again, I think when you're a program like that, of course, the people with the arrows and slings are out today. I knew they would be. It's okay. I've been going through this since I was a kid. Nothing's changed. Oh, people are saying mean stuff about Notre Dame. What will I do? What will I do? They have to join a conference. I've been hearing that mess for years. They've made the playoffs consistently. They were in the national title. They beat all those conferences that you just mentioned that were so great and unbeatable. They beat them all last year on their way to a national championship game without a conference. Like, that doesn't add up for anyone.
Ultimately, I think.
And what conference should they join?
Yeah, joining the ACC doesn't really help.
It does nothing.
It does
nothing. Miami's never won an ACC. They didn't play in the conference championship game. They've never won the ACC.
Big Ten
I'm sure the Big Ten would love to have that.
Yes,
Who do they kick out?
Why? We'll just have a 19th team. They're already 8 over 10 anyway. Might as well make it 9 over 10. College football
they're going to have
problems.
to do something. They're going to have to probably expansion, because I felt very conflicted yesterday when we actually got to the selection and you see the field and you see Tulane and James Madison in there.
Yeah,
and I understand how it worked, and it even could have been fluky, but for years, and I'm somebody who went to a Mountain West school, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility. San Diego State could have been shown on ESPN yesterday in their locker room celebrating because they were in the college football playoffs. That's cool for those schools. But when we actually get to the day and you see the whole field, I go, I just want the 12 best teams.
Yeah, it's tough too, because
you have to do
it that way.
Well, I do think you have to have an avenue for a group of 5 team. Otherwise, the group of 5 is gone. You just are erasing
it's already
it from
on
existence.
Life support. That would be.
And if you take them out of it, you're erasing them from existence. I have the solution. You're not going to like it, most college football fans, but the solution is you have made these conferences, especially the Big Ten and the SEC, so big that you don't even play half of your conference teams every year, which makes, when at the end you get these wild tiebreaker scenarios to determine who's going to a conference championship game that ends up Duke in a championship game, which makes no sense at all.
With 5 losses.
If you're going to play a schedule, you're only playing half of your conference games. You should put the top 2 teams in your conference championship based on their ranking, their overall resume. So conference records shouldn't matter at all anymore. If you went 5-3 in your conference, but you're the top ranked team in your conference, you go in over the team that's 8-0 in the conference. The conference games don't mean anything when your conferences are too big. You may not have played the same teams as the team that went 8-0,
right,
versus the one that went 5-3. 5-3 might be a better record because you played a tougher conference schedule than the one that went 8-0.
Yeah, but again, a 5-3 record is not getting you anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
But if you're the best, let's say, but in the non-conference, you won some impressive games against ranked teams.
Okay,
so you're the best ranked team. You go to the conference championship.
Here's the thing, and I saw this tweeted, and I laughed because it's true. Notre Dame could literally schedule Georgia, Southern Cal. They could do the Navy game, which is tradition, and then they could schedule Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana. It still wouldn't be enough. It wouldn't be enough. And let's say they lost 3 of those games. Well, they're not in the conference. They're out. They're out. Not playing a conference championship game yesterday.
But making the conference championship games, if you're going to keep the conference championships, if you make those teams the best teams and not just the ones that won their 2-loss tiebreakers in conference, you're going to get actually more opportunity for Notre Dame, because you won't have situations where James Madison is the 5th ranked conference champion, because the top 4 champions will all be good teams. Miami would have been in there against Virginia instead of Duke getting into that game. You just can't. These conferences are too big to play conference
Of
schedules that
course.
make it meaningful anymore.
Of course. And again, like you said, there's tiers of the conference. One team plays a tougher conference schedule than the next, and then you have to figure out.
You could be in the Big Ten now with 18 teams. You could play a 9-game schedule, and another team can play a completely different
Correct.
9-game Big Ten schedule against 9 totally different opponents.
With, by the way, with an FCS
How
team
is that
thrown in there.
That would be like you're playing in the NL West. You're the Padres and Dodgers, but you didn't play any of the same teams all year long.
Right.
And then you decide, oh, who's the champion of our division? Wait, we didn't have a single common opponent the entire year? How is that? You can't compare two teams that don't play the same schedules. And if you have conferences that are 18 teams large, there's no way to compare those teams. They're basically in different conferences if you're playing different schedules. You've wrecked college football's conference championships by making your conferences too big.
So again, my beef is with Alabama, right? The losses that they had, they got credit for the best win of the year against Georgia, which was, I think, in week 1. They got double credit for that. They had a blowout loss to Georgia. They had a 7-point win over a 5-7 Auburn team. They had an FCS opponent, and they lost to OU at home. This is the last 4 weeks, and they're like, yeah, they look good to us. We'll throw them in. It just so happens the SEC and ESPN are massively in bed together. How does that work? So look, it's over. They didn't make it. I'll be hate watching like a mother. Like, I can't wait to hate watch this entire playoffs.
And if the playoffs were on NBC, then Notre Dame would probably
be
never be missing the playoffs.
That's
if
right.
if that's what happens.
Well,
Is that how you want college football run? I don't think anybody does.
I want when you win 10 games in a row by an average of like 38.5 points down the stretch. I think that team deserves to be in. I do think they deserve to be in, and so do you. You know you do.
All right, we're going to get back to baseball.
Don't
coming
you
up.
Admit it? They deserve to be in.
I think they deserve to be in. I do think they deserve to be in. I think Miami also deserved to be in. I would have knocked Alabama out.
So would I.
But of course, they were the ones that got knocked out last year at the on the wire as well.
Yeah. How about Florida State should have done this in 23? They should have absolutely said, no, we're not playing that bowl game. They got hosed. They got robbed. Remember that? They got robbed. And they lost their quarterback
going forward.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, that big bowl game they played really put them on the map and brought them back to relevance and prominence.
All right, we're going to get back to baseball. Sam Levitt's going to join us at the bottom of the hour from Orlando at baseball's winter meetings. But in Don't Do This, the toughest job potentially in America, Bob Nightingale's editor. It's got to be a tough one.
His boss. What do you do?
Oh, I actually cringed this weekend when I saw it.
Paulie, you worked with a guy that had his Twitter taken away. Is it time?
I haven't seen Boob Nightingale's recent, but
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable.
We have some audio that we absolutely have to play. I think it's a do this, right? About the national mention of our boss.
Yeah, why not? I like it.
You guys will like this.
It was pretty positive. I like that. All right, we'll get to that coming up next with Bennett Woods after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. First, though, holidays are coming up, but then what happens? The new year is coming up. You know you're going to want to make some resolutions. What about getting some help this year with your New Year's resolutions by going to sdfatloss.com and finding out how you can do the program that helps you lose up to a pound of fat per day and 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 60 days. And if you sign up now, you can take advantages of the best prices of the year, up to $400 or more off at sdfatloss.com. It's the program based on real foods, the one that I did and lost 40 pounds in 60 days, and I've kept all the weight off. You can do it as well with no counting points or calories, no prepackaged meals, no exercise, and no injections with the risk of those serious side effects. Sign up today, get a free consultation. They will explain how the program works, when you eat, how much you eat, and how it can change your metabolism to become a fat-burning machine. You can be up to 17 years younger in your metabolic age. I don't know exactly what that means, but I certainly feel way younger than I did before I started the program in so many different ways. Join all the tier ones who've lost so much weight. You can be next. Take advantage of now. We'll sign up before December 31st and then start the program whenever you're ready by going to sdfatloss.com. That's sdfatloss.com. Results may vary.
and this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Humul Casino Resort, now open.
Don't Do This, brought to you by Trust and Will. By the way, Trust and Will, the new title sponsor of the Holiday Bowl. Congratulations. Might talk about that game and matchup a little bit later. First, though, don't leave your entire estate, house, kids, and life savings up to chance if and when you die.
Do
set up a Trust or Will online at trustandwill.com.
This
is a lot more affordable than you think. Visit trustandwill.com for more info. And whether you agree or disagree with Notre Dame's decision not to play in a bowl game, certainly caused chaos yesterday, and delaying the announcement of several bowl matchups by hours and hours, including the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl, which eventually got the matchup I think they wanted to begin with, which was Arizona SMU coming to Snapdragon Stadium on January 2nd. But there were many bowls that couldn't even find an opponent, including the Birmingham Bowl, which ended up with Georgia Southern against blank. And for hours and hours, they kept asking teams, will you play again our bowl game against Georgia Southern? And they just kept getting no. I think at least seven teams turned them down. Wow. Because there were no more 6-win teams left. So they had to go to the 5-win teams that had already wrapped up their season and go, all right, we'll see you next year. And now all of a sudden they're getting invited to a bowl game. Finally, after hours and hours, Appalachian State agreed to be the opponents for Georgia Southern in the Birmingham Bowl. And they finally filled the roster out of all the bowl games. But Notre Dame's decision had some immediate repercussions, let's say.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything, Benjamin.
But first, Bob Nightingale over the weekend. And we all send out tweets with errors. You did the other week.
Yeah, I said giddy instead of gritty.
But Bob does it a lot more than most.
So read the original.
So
the original
over the weekend,
tweet.
Bob Nightingale trying to break some of the first news from the winter meetings. The Chicago Cubs are close to finalizing an agreement with free agent starter Zach Gallen on a multi-year deal that will pay him an average of $22 million a year. Gallen, with 3 top 10 Cy Young finishes, has averaged 32 starts a year for the past 4 seasons. Now,
big news.
That's huge news.
I think we all know, what that means. That usually when you say close to finalizing, they're on the finish line.
Yep.
And unless something weird happens, it's going to happen. Now, things have fallen apart at the last moment. But he made it seem as though, okay, this is at the 1 yard line. They just need to cross the T's and dot the I's, and they're going to have the deal done.
If you're a Cub fan, you're like, oh, hell yeah. We got Zach Gallen in our rotation. It's a lot of money for Zach Gallen, but that's okay. We're going to be all right. We got another arm.
Weird things happen, but if you're a Cubs fan and you see that, you assume you're getting Zach Gallen.
Well, Jeff Passan immediately tweeted out, The Cubs are not close to a deal.
First, he had to update it.
No,
Well,
first Jeff
was
Passan
it
tweeted.
Passan tweeted. Then he updated.
Got it.
And then he changed his tweet, used the edit feature, and said, "Update: the Chicago Cubs are hopeful of finalizing an agreement with free agent starter Zach Gallen on a multi-year deal, but the deal is not done, with others still in contention."
Didn't mention any dollar amounts.
No, he didn't give the stats. Gallen, with 3 top 10 Cy Young finishes, has averaged 32 starts a year for the past 4
I'll tell you what,
hopeful.
If we tweeted every team that was hopeful of signing someone this offseason, your feeds would just be filled with hopeful tweets.
I don't know the purpose of this. He does have a blue check mark, so engagement is key if you want to make some money. I don't think he's that. I don't think he operates that way.
I think it's simply because he has last week he reported that the A's were hiring Ron Washington, and then he had to change it.
It was the Giants.
I think, and I've had this happen before. You just rush to get something out, and I've got to imagine when you know that Jeff Passan and Jesse Rogers and Ken Rosenthal are all on their phones ready to tweet the same thing at the same minute, that if you wait even like 15 seconds to make sure you proofread everything, you just got scooped. And I think sometimes he goes so fast to try to get that out before everybody else that he doesn't bother.
Did a bunch of other reporters
it.
Also put out something about Zach Gallen?
Not this one.
No.
But I think he was probably fearful. Like, I just got this. I think this is a scoop. I got to get it out as fast as possible. And then,
what's the reward though? The if you're wrong, this is clearly what happens. You're getting made fun of on morning talk shows the next day. If you're right,
then you're the guy that everyone goes to for breaking news, I guess.
I think, we could, as Padres fans and here on 97.3 The Fan, I could literally tweet today, the San Diego Padres are hopeful of finalizing an agreement with left-handed power hitting Kyle Schwarber, because I'm sure they are hopeful.
I'm sure they're hopeful of acquiring Shohei Ohtani in a trade with the Dodgers.
They are hopeful.
David
Luis Camposano,
Morgan.
and David Morgan. And Estrada.
They do need some bullpen help.
They do.
LA. That's possible.
So it's one of those deals. You're like, you can't be tweeting that they're hopeful of finalizing agreements. Now, if he goes to the Cubs, everyone will say, "Oh, Bob was right," but it just doesn't. It's not a good look. Not a good look.
They're talking to him. If you know they're talking to him, you can say they're talking to him.
Yeah, I think they have shown interest in Zach Gallen. That's an okay tweet. The Chicago Cubs have shown interest in Zach Gallen. Nothing wrong with that. But Bob does this all the time.
Yeah.
Does this all the time. We got to go quick. This is a doo-doo, this, in my opinion.
DD mega doo-doo.
Ben and Woods getting a little national radio show attention.
Got a DM last night from Charge Strohs, D Feezy 922. He said, "What up, Woodsy? Was listening to some sports radio on the way home, like Ben, and came across this Friday night, Saturday morning. I thought it was cool. Ben and Woods getting a shout out on national radio for another tier 1. I don't know if I'd call this a Ben and Woods shout out, but he said, hope all is well.
It was like late Friday or even early Saturday morning.
Yeah, early Saturday morning. It looks like he screenshot. Now, he could have gone back and got it at 5:25.
Sure.
But this was on a guy by the name of David Shepard on his show, based out of New York.
888-710-4476. Let's get right back to the phone lines. Derek in San Diego. Appreciate the patience, man. Hope you're having a good morning. What do you have for us, sir?
Mr. Shepard, the kindest man in sports talk radio, and I want to give a shout out to Gilberto in San Diego. We call in to the local sports talk radio shows.
Very nice.
On a regular basis. Good to hear him, man.
Yeah. Is that Adam Klug? He's the program director there now, right? And he has been for quite some time.
He is. Yeah. Adam Klug, man. He gets made fun of a lot on the morning show. But Adam Klug is a good dude, man.
Well, Derek, you know it's a good morning show if you can make fun of your program director and get away with it. You know you're doing well in the ratings if that's the case.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Ben and Woods, they just slay Adam Klug. But you know what? Adam's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
I've met him personally. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to give a shout out to Gilberto. But you know what?
Fantastic.
Shout out to Gilberto.
Shout out Gilberto, number one. Shout out to that guy that called in with great pipes, by the way. Phenomenal pipes, the caller. And shout out to Shepard for being like, hey, no. Like, if you can make fun of your boss, that means you're a good show. Thank you. We do slay Adam quite a bit. We absolutely adore Adam and don't want to work for anybody else. It's a place of
Adam Klug, man. He gets made fun of a lot.
They're hearing this in South Dakota and Washington and Florida. Yeah.
I was blown away. I was blown away when I heard this. So, Adam.
Yeah, Adam Klug, man. He gets made fun of a lot.
That kind of sounds like the so pitted guy.
Yeah, so pitted. We need to put that in the tournament of drops. I think Ben Woods slays him is better even than that. But
Adam Klug is a good dude, man.
Well, Derek,
solid.
you know it's a good morning show if you can make fun of your program director and get away with it. You know you're doing well in the ratings if that's the case.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ben Woods, they just slay Adam Klug.
I love it. I love it. Made me so happy.
And that is Don't and Do This for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
When we come back, we will take you out to Orlando for the first time, but certainly not the last time this week. A live update from the MLB Winter Meetings from Sammy Levitt coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
But first, gang, it is time for your old pal Woodsy to talk about some Eco Water. Eco Water SoCal got the unit in the home coming up on our Eco Water anniversary. It was right after the year ended. We had them come out and install the Eco Water system. It's been phenomenal. Been the best, smartest, most practical upgrade I've ever made for my family and our home. I don't do a lot right, but I did this right. They are the first with remote monitoring, the first with Wi-Fi and leak detection, and the first with whole home automatic cutoffs that can stop a leak before it becomes a disaster. They have been doing this since 1925 when they patented the first self-regenerating water softener. Now, nearly a century later, they're still leading the way. And the hard water that you're currently using or drinking, showering in, giving to your family, giving to your pets, washing your food in, all of that, it's not great. It's not great at all. There's a lot of stuff in there that you don't want. So make sure you get the Eco Water system. Their reverse osmosis system gives you bottle quality water straight from the tap. You add the alkaline filters, your hydration gets a very healthy boost. Try the Soft Life and alkaline water now, just $9.95 a month by calling 760-350-3338. Or visit ecowatersocal.com. Let them know Woodsy sent you. Not everything in life should be hard, especially your water. Keeping it soft since 1925.
Hey, player, this is all yours. This room with this view and this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Got Sam Levitt standing by from Orlando. First this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by U.S. Wellness Meats. Skip the fillers and preservatives in food and choose 100% grass-fed and pasture-raised meats from the trusted family farms at U.S. Wellness Meats. Free shipping on orders over 15 pounds. Get 20% off your first order at uswellnessmeats.com. Let's see. I've heard it's rainy in Florida, which is not totally unusual.
They're not doing these meetings outside, though, so
that's true.
fine.
He'll be fine. And we had a surprising Hall of Fame announcement yesterday. We'll start there with Sam Levitt right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Got a few problems here, guys. Eastbound King Freeway before the 15 two-car collision in the center divide. Also, eastbound 8 before the 5 reports of some debris in middle lanes. And a stalled vehicle partially blocking the Fletcher Parkway off-ramp westbound 8. Whether you're dashing through San Diego or heading out of town, make sure your car's in the game. Friendly text at Valvoline Instant Oil Change will check your lights, wipers, tire pressure, battery, and more with every oil change. Grab holiday savings now at SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's really a cycle of the year when it comes to Sam Levitt. There's spring training Sammy, then regular season Sammy, postseason Sammy, off-season Sammy. But for every couple days every year, we've got winter meetings Sammy Levitt joining us now, and I can see him live from Orlando, Florida. Sammy, how's the trip? How's everything starting for you?
Everything has been remarkably smooth. Got into Orlando about 10 p.m. last night. Like you alluded to, it was pouring all night, pouring this morning. So nobody's outside, nobody in the pools here in Orlando, many of them that I can see. But like you said, everything thankfully inside. And so far, a fairly quiet morning as people start to show up. I see Susie Hunter right there. Hi, Susie. I'm on the radio right now. I'll talk to you later. But yes, tons of people walking around and showing up, and we are just getting rolling on this Monday in Orlando.
And how's the hotel? You're staying at the hotel where everyone's staying?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Nice.
Yes. So makes it very easy. I shower, waltz downstairs, grab a cup of coffee, and we are right to work.
No continental breakfast at the hotel?
No, I will say one of the things about the winter meetings, and this has been true at any of the locations, it is a little difficult to figure out what exactly to do as far as breakfast and lunch. There's a lot of people here. I don't know that there are a ton of options on site. I don't know that there are a ton of options in the Adam Klug budget range on site.
Hey, can you just not eat?
Many of these places you're not particularly close to a lot of places. So that can be a little bit difficult, admittedly, figuring out the food situation, but we're all sort of in the same boat. So this morning I got a fruit cup, and a cup of coffee. It cost me $14.
Kevin
Wow.
AC
So
said
we're
he'll
off and
share
running.
his sandwich with you.
This is unbelievable. I love it.
So give us we've only been to the ones in San Diego down at the Hyatt
Yep.
downtown. What's the kind of the lay of the land? You're in a hall. It looks like you're
The
in a
hallway.
hallway with, and
Yeah.
I keep looking because if you're not watching our YouTube stream, you can see people just streaming. I'm waiting to see famous people like agents or someone stream behind you at any moment.
Yeah, each one is a little bit different, right? Since I've been in San Diego, let's see, we did
Oh,
Nashville.
Alex Cora
we
just
did-
walked by. I just saw Alex Cora. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Oh man. We did Nashville, Dallas. They're all somewhat similar, right? They're in these big convention center hotels with these really big ballrooms. They're all a little bit different. This one I think is kind of between two hotels, and we're walking back and forth. You have the MLB Network set. You have all the different other radio and media sets. I will note, one thing we don't do, and this is fine. This is not a knock on Adam. Is we don't like reserve a radio table like we did in San Diego that one year, right? When we had all the shows there. So it will be a process like it is right now of figuring out where to do these interviews. That's why I'm in a hallway right now, but it gives you a little feel behind me,
Sure.
right? You see all the people walking by. So every setup's a little bit different, but it's ballrooms, hallways. We'll go up to, I presume, some of the hotel suites when we go to talk to AJ Preller a little bit later today. That's always interesting because you're walking into a hotel suite and now you're talking baseball. But
So you got in.
it's always pretty similar.
You got in late last night. When you walked in,
last night, yes.
walked in to check in the hotel, was the hotel bar bumping? Because I heard a lot of deals get going down there.
Yes, it was. I did not peruse last night. I got in late. I was tired. I had a wedding this weekend.
I don't blame you.
admittedly, on Saturday. So I've talked to people this morning. I kind of did my own thing and went to sleep. And, I had to charge my microphones and get everything set to go. So, but yes, from years past that, yes, the hotel bar is a place to be, a place where deals get made, a place where a lot of good conversations happen. So yes, it's no secret. What's that?
Sammy,
What are
we're
we
watching
looking at?
MLB Network.
Oh,
right
behind-
now.
You are
John
John Morosi.
Yeah, you're right
Am I
behind
right
John
behind
Rose's
John?
shoulder, so we can see you doing the interview on
that's
MLB
so
Network.
funny.
This is like Inception. This
Sammy,
is
wave,
nuts.
wave,
Sammy,
wave.
Sammy,
Don't
give the
wave.
middle finger.
Don't wave.
Hold up a Ben and Wood sticker.
No, I'm nervous. I'm very, very
Oh my
nervous
God,
right
this is
now.
incredible.
MLB Network's lights are too bright for me.
You're
very,
right
very
over
nervous
his
right
shoulder.
now.
Right over his shoulder. It's like
Really?
I
Right
thought
over
it was
John
Adam
Morosi's
at first.
shoulder.
Morosi looks a lot like Adam. That is incredible. All right. Well, they already had Dennis Lynn wrote a piece this morning. I'm sure you've had a chance to read it, Sammy. Maybe you haven't. I don't know. Talking about Nick Pivetta. I mean, look, these are the kind of things that GMs have to consider as foolish as it sounds to us. Hey, your opening day starter is on the block because you don't want to pay him potentially $19 million. Again, the analogy I used was it feels like a little bit of the air leaves the balloon on a Monday morning.
Yeah, look, in a couple of the conversations I had this morning, and I read that same piece by Dennis within the last hour or so, I think the overarching feeling and theme I get, and whether this is something that happens at the winter meetings or later is obviously going to be a key question here over the next few days, but I do think there, at least from people who are around the game, there's a feeling of the Padres are going to have to do something, right? I think we all understand the starting pitching is a major need. They need a lot. They need not just quality, but they need quantity, quite frankly, at this point. So am I shocked to read that from Dennis about Pivetta this morning? No, I think the overarching feeling here is, and I'm not saying feeling from the Padres, but feeling from people who are around it, is that they're going to have to do something to free up money, to make themselves a little bit more flexible. So is that something as major as trading a Pivetta? Maybe. I think that also opens up an enormous hole in your rotation, something you're trying to fix. So I'm not a huge fan of it when you just mention it. Could you make a case for it? Sure. Jake Cronenworth, I think, is a name that, in all likelihood, we're going to hear quite a bit about, is somebody, again, that creates another hole. Jake's obviously very valuable. He's obviously a favorite to us and a lot of the fans, but would be somebody that can free up payroll, and then you could allocate that in a different direction. So It's so funny. Year after year, I feel like, I've come to these meetings and we've had sort of the same conversation the last few years in particular. And that is, how is AJ going to get creative to put the best team on the field he possibly can? And this feels like certainly another one of those situations where he's going to have to be really, really, really creative. And I obviously think this time around, it's about starting pitching and how are you going to create a situation where you can get both quality and quantity in that starting rotation. How they go about that, obviously, is the key question.
It was announced that the Contemporary Era Committee, after considering some of the greats that had been passed over for Hall of Fame selection, are only inducting one member, and that is Jeff Kent, over guys like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and Gary Sheffield and Carlos Delgado. And I would say Woods and I were very surprised, because if you listed all the names that were available and you told me everyone's going to get in except one, I would have said Jeff Kent's the only one that doesn't get in out of that list. So the fact that he got in, I don't know why it bothers me. I never liked Jeff Kent.
Yeah, you didn't like him.
I never liked him. But
that's why it bothers you.
I think for my biggest argument is, if Barry Bonds doesn't exist and he's not a teammate of Jeff Kent, there's no way that Jeff Kent's a Hall of Famer. He got all kinds of pitches to hit because of Barry Bonds. He was in the perfect situation. Now, he capitalized on it, yes, but it bothers me that there's a world that Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall and Jeff Kent is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, more so than even the Kent part of it, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know that we've ever had this conversation. I'm just so firmly in the camp that how can you have a Hall of Fame without a guy like Barry Bonds, without a guy like even Gary Sheffield, right, who also would have been under consideration from this Contemporary Era Committee. I feel like the omissions speak as loudly as the guys who are elected right now, whether it be via the writers, whether it be via the various committees. Look, again, and Barry Bonds is obviously the prime example. I just don't know how, you can go to Cooperstown and take your kids and try to explain the game of baseball without some of these guys in there, whether it's Bonds or Clemens or A-Rod, list goes on and on and on. It'll continue to grow. So I'm pretty much with you. At a base level, I have no real issue with Kent getting in, but to me, it's just the omissions that continue to, unfortunately, I suppose, kind of highlight what's gone on in Cooperstown.
What do you think, Woods? I mean, his numbers, they're Hall of Fame war. There's some guys who are in around where he is.
Bro, his B war, and again, you can whatever measurement, but they said he's in with like a 54 B war. Lou Whitaker's not even on the ballot with a 71.
Right.
That's the tough part. And the best tweet of the day was, "Hey, honey, the guy they were okay pitching to when they walked Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame, but Barry Bonds is not." I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, I mean, you still got to capitalize and do the job, and maybe he's deserving, maybe he is, but I think those other guys are too. AJ Pierzynski had a really hot take over the weekend maybe on Friday about how, if you're in the Clemens and Bonds camp and it wasn't even illegal in baseball to do this stuff, there was a time when they came and they cracked down hard on steroids. Anybody after that, you're out. Anybody before that, you're in. And I went, okay, that's a real cut and dry way to look at it. By that metric, then Barry Bonds would be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm okay with that. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. No, I'm in favor of Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens.
It's the best hitter that's ever lived.
I'm not saying ignore, make sure, everyone knows the history and the story of it. But anyway, that's my personal rant for this morning. Sammy, what else you've got going? Obviously, you're going to be on all the shows all week.
Yeah, we'll have plenty from Orlando, obviously, on the shows all week. We'll have content on the 97.3 The Fan social media channels, whether that is X or Instagram, and obviously on my channels as well at Sammy Lev. Today, Craig Stammen is scheduled to speak with the media formally a little bit later this afternoon. I'll do something with Craig after that as well, and then you guys know we have AJ Preller speak every day here at the winter meeting, so that'll be later in the afternoon, and we will have audio and video for you throughout the week from Orlando, so stay tuned.
Oh, yeah,
awesome.
Sammy.
Thank you, Sammy. Have a good day. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Don't starve to death.
All right, guys, I'll try.
Sam Levitt on our David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. We'll come back 2 hours down. 2 hours to go with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We're halfway home on a Monday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Lovely to be here with you. Another beautiful day outside those windows. The sun's about to start beaming in right on our faces. My face, the back of your head. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer of the program. Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor and MC. Off to MC a luncheon today at noon. Like you don't have enough on your plate.
Navy Craig did text me and say, "Don't stress.
Okay,
I'm not going to test you on all the
not all
the
of
Navy,
them.
Army,
Seven
Navy.
of them.
Yeah,
who is
heard that line from
Mike
teachers.
Gish?
They said we'll just have a fun, no stress Q&A session. So I'm trusting you here, Craig.
So you're putting a lot of faith in the fact that those people know who you are, right? Because a Q&A, like if I go to a Q&A, oh, it's Quentin Tarantino. Like I'm going to ask him questions about.
Well, I will introduce myself to those who don't know me at the beginning and tell you a little bit about myself. Isn't that the start of any good luncheon talk? You know, you do a little biographical information. Hey, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ben Higgins. I've been on TV and radio here in San Diego for the last 25 years. You might have heard me on 97.3 The Fan with Stephen Woods, Paul Reindl in the mornings, or watched me on Channel 10 doing the sports for 2+ decades, as well as now news anchoring. And if you don't do any of that, then I'm not sure why you got a ticket to today's event to hear me as a speaker, but here I am.
And then you just sit and wait for questions.
Some questions, I'm sure, will pop up.
What would it be an example of a question, Paulie, be for Ben? Hey, do you write the teleprompter, or does somebody else do that
That's
for
a good
you?
question.
Okay.
It's a good question.
How do you decide what you talk about on a daily
do you think I
basis?
should give some sort of like motivational speech?
All right, everybody gather around.
Please, please. Please give some sort of motivational speech.
And this is the Navy Alumni Association. They have way more to offer than I do.
Yeah, you should be asking them questions.
Exactly.
Not the other way
Exactly.
around. An hour.
You're just saying I have no business being there whatsoever.
No, I'm
I
not
got
saying
invited. I was invited.
I get it. But I'm fearful that they don't have a script.
No, there's no script. Definitely no script.
No script.
No.
Just
It's a very informal luncheon, I think. It's just a bunch of guys and gals and in a room. And
we went to, didn't we go to a luncheon together on the Midway? Me, you, my dad, Notre Dame was in town to play Navy, I think. And I think we went to a luncheon, but we didn't have to speak.
No, we didn't speak.
But we just
This
went.
is not that big. This is a couple dozen.
Okay,
people.
we
I don't
went
think
to eat there.
Yeah, this is not the flight deck of the Midway with 1,000 tables. I know. I did MC the Holiday
did?
Bowl luncheon one year in the Midway.
That was where we went.
The flight deck. There was, like 300 tables, and I had a script that day.
I remember that. You could start by
script.
saying you still got them jugs. That's a good way to start any luncheon that you do.
Yeah.
Still got them jugs? What do you think? Good icebreaker?
Well, I mean, if they bring out some jugs of
Still got them
iced tea
jugs,
and
don't they?
lemonade or something, it's lunch. Definitely would be appropriate then.
I think about that clip every day, multiple times a day. You still got them jugs, huh?
Still got them jugs, don't you?
Yeah, sure do. Still got them.
Jeff Kent in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose not.
Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I get it. Well, I hope you have a great luncheon.
Thank you.
Today. That's it for me.
All right. Remember to listen in 1 hour. We will have our biggest fan announcement. First one this week. Chance to qualify for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a future Padres game with all the fan staff catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan in order to potentially have your name called.
Paulie puts the what day is today on the rundown every day. And, we always make fun of the fact that they celebrate literally everything. There's a day for everything.
Everything.
And there's a couple in here that are interesting. What do you think take it in the ear day means? Because
Take it in the ear.
that's the one that I'm most take what?
I don't know.
in the
Remember
ear
when you were a kid
exactly.
and you had an ear infection, your mom had to put those ear
Sure.
drops and you had to take it in the ear.
Can
when-
somebody look up what
Says, have a blast on Take It in the Ear Day by trying out new and unique ear-related activities from piercing to listening to your favorite music.
Okay, so every day is ear day. Take it in the ear day.
Take Ben and Woods in the ear.
Take us in
now.
the ear day.
Take us
That
in
makes
the ear.
sense. Makes sense. Today
Perfect.
is
for us.
also, hey, make sure you celebrate today.
It was first created in 2001 by Thomas Roy, who's an author, and he was honoring his friend who had recently lost his hearing.
Okay. So today, for those that have lost their hearing, make sure you take it in the ear. Hannah, we can try something new when I get home tonight. Take it in the ear day. I have a different meaning in my house. Today, also make sure to celebrate your health savings account day. Today is National Health Savings Account. I do not have one.
You don't?
No, I do not have an
crazy?
HSA.
You don't have an HSA?
No, do you?
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
can I tell you as a
Why
throwback?
would you not have an HSA?
I've got insurance.
Yes, but you can save. You still have to pay money when you have insurance, right?
Just pay it.
Right, but if you have an HSA, you can pay it before you pay taxes on that money.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
It's
That's another
Come on,
thing they're going to
Lawrence.
pull money out of my check. My
Yes,
check for it now.
but eventually you're going to use that money to pay, doctors and
Does it
fees
roll
and
over?
stuff. Yeah, well, mine rolls over every year. There's different kinds. Some do, some don't. But mine rolls over every year. And anytime I get one of those unexpected bills from the doctor's office, like what this didn't cover, insurance didn't cover this or that, then I go to the HSA and I just
Pull it right out of
they
there.
give me a card and I go, here's my HSA card, and they take it out of my HSA account.
So I don't have flex spending. That's different.
That's a similar but
It's like a subcategory of
subcategory
HSA.
of an HSA.
Why it says you need an HDHP to get an HSA. I don't even know what that is either. What's an HDHP?
Don't know what that's
It's like an HDMI.
WTF, right? So HSA, a health spending account. And that just means that I can pay
co-pays and different charges at the doctor's office.
my
Prescriptions.
copay is like $10.
Right. Well, I'm not saying you have to have a huge HSA, but you can take a little bit out every month.
For what?
So you don't have to so you're not paying any taxes on that money.
Don't I pay taxes in my check?
But you won't pay taxes on the HSA money. You'll pay less in taxes if you only use that money toward your health spending.
Okay. So all right. So I should get an HSA account. It's funny. It's a throwback because you talked about last Friday that you rolled over your 401k.
I did.
So you got me thinking, and I went on a mission over the weekend
To find
some old
401ks. Good.
401k.
Did
So
you find any?
Well, now you guys will be really proud. You know how I will often get duped and whatnot. I got pretty far down the line on a website but then they started asking me for all kinds of things, and I
told
said,
you not
"I'm not."
to do this. I told you, don't Google anything.
I said, recover your 401k. And I found this website that I thought would
Tell you all.
tell me all the ones that
accounts you
I
have.
had forgotten, right? So I didn't.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting over the weekend for Paulie. I think it happened again. I went to 401k.org and I entered my social, and now they stole all my money.
All right. So I almost did one, and then I go, no, this seems fishy. So I shut it down. People are making fun of me in the chat that I don't have an HSA. Paulie, do you have an HSA?
Yes.
Oh,
I think we do. I know how it works at least.
I just pay the bill. I go to the thing. I pay my $25, my $10. I get my prescriptions. I pay my $2 prescriptions. I move on with life. I don't
Jay
know.
Hughes says, Woodsy, how did you put pants on this morning?
Pretty nuts. Hannah's not great at this stuff either, to be honest with you. Like, I handle all the insurance, so that's good. I don't have a financial advisor. I don't make enough money. I don't make enough money to have a financial. I don't pay a financial advisor. That feels like a scam to me. Anybody want to do it for free? I'm in, but like
No,
I
they
can't.
do it so they can invest your money. They make their money.
I don't have
by
money
investing
to
your money.
invest. You know where
We
we
got
live.
401ks, apparently all kinds of ones just floating around
so
out there.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Right.
Is that I went and I go, okay, so I Googled who did Clear Channel use in Dallas in 2001, and it was Fidelity. So I went to Fidelity's website, got all signed up, called them. They had a lady on the phone. She's like, "Oh yeah, I found your 401k." I go, "How much is it?" And she goes, $0. So nothing there. I then I need to call Merrill Lynch today, I believe, for my Reach Local account. But I don't think there's anything in there.
Were you not? Maybe you weren't contributing to it while you were an employee.
No, I think I was. I think I pulled it though.
Oh, okay.
To like move or something, and you got to buy new furniture or pay a deposit.
Hardship withdrawal.
Taxed at 80% or something.
Right.
So Yeah, I feel like an idiot for not having an HSA now. JH says, I feel like if I show up with some magic beans, Wood would trade me his savings. I probably would. Magic beans. You have one too, huh?
I believe we do. Yeah, you can like take money out of the HSA account for like anything that you would buy like at a drugstore, even like aspirin, sunscreen, stuff like that. Stuff
Take it out of what?
Out of your HSA account.
How?
They give you a debit card.
Okay, they give you
use
okay.
at
See,
the,
this
at
is
the
the
doctor's
practical
office
things.
or the pharmacy or whatever.
All right.
And then it's just like
It's like you're already putting money away there.
All right.
So use
it's
that
like a
money.
different savings account just for health stuff.
So I'm gonna get one for my wife.
That
too.
doesn't get
You can't
taxed.
use it at like Chick-fil-A. But it's not a debit card, but
I had no idea.
Woods is going to end up in jail for using his HSA for things that aren't supposed to be used for its HSA.
It's a medical only debit card. First time hearing of it.
Really?
Yeah.
This is pretty common stuff for the year 2025.
Literally the first time hearing of it.
in the United States of America.
First
This
I've ever
you
heard of it.
should be aware of.
Well, because I had,
certain
I'm going to
things
get you an
like this.
HSA card for Christmas.
I
figured
think
it
I
out.
had been scared off of the flex. I think one time I put money in flex
And then you
spending,
lost it at
and
the
then
end
I
of the
lost
year
it. And I
'cause
was
you
like,
didn't use
"You're
it."
not taking anything from me." I
Uh-huh.
thought I
All
was
right.
being smart. All right.
Shall we take a time out?
Everyone is making so much fun of me right now in the chat. I'm being bullied right now.
Sorry.
So bad.
Just, at some point at 50 years old, you're going to have to grow into adulthood.
Am I?
I think
Says
so.
who?
I don't know.
I'm an artist, man. I'm an artist.
I know. How about, you're
He's
also
an
a champ.
artist. Let him art.
Let me art, dude.
You're also a champ at Take on Woods. I have not lost yet this
Not like
month.
Picasso was too concerned about his HSAs. Oh boy.
If you'd like to be our
right, yeah, that's what got me.
If you'd like to be our contestant for our first game this week of Take on Woods, call now 833-288-0973. Qualify for the trip to Las Vegas and our musical trivia challenge against Woods. That is coming up next after a check of traffic with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. GEGE 000-466. For a full list of games and rules, play at 7 Mile Casino. Visit 7milecasino.com.
Woods will be taking his new HSA account right down to 7 Mile.
Nope.
I can double it.
That's not how it works.
Definitely not how it works. But if you do have your own cash and you want to go down to 7 Mile Casino, play a little California-style blackjack, Texas Hold'em, Pine Gout, or Baccarat, you're going to find San Diego's best, most comfortable, most upscale, and just all-around greatest card room that you could possibly imagine right off the freeway in Chula Vista.
Yeah, man, and great time of year to get down there. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're open Christmas Eve, Christmas morning. Maybe you just want to get away, go grab a drink and play some California-style blackjack. Who could blame you? Get done putting together all the toys and all that stuff. We're all going to be up all night doing that. 7 Mile Casino's open, and you can go get a great meal there, too, 24 hours a day, the 24/7 players menu. Smoke-free environment, too. Great spot. Proximity to downtown makes it elite, just 7 minutes.
I mentioned it earlier. You can bring your out-of-town guests, or as Woods, I think, even more wisely suggested, you can escape your out-of-town guests for a couple of hours by heading down to 7 Mile Casino. You just go down the 5, you get off Bay Boulevard. You're right there on the west side of the freeway. You're pulling in moments away. Couldn't be easier at 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from downtown.
this pool, on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Blissfully unaware, my friend. That's who I am. I talked to my wife. She says she doesn't want an HSA.
Okay.
So I
That's fine.
tried.
You're good. You're good. And you may not have the high deductible account that I do because
I don't
I get my
think.
insurance through Channel 10. You get yours
I get
here.
mine here.
So different plans, different strokes for different folks.
Indeed.
Let's see. We just had Sammy Levin on. That was fantastic. He's going to be talking to Craig Stammen later today. Make sure you keep tuned in to 97.3 The Fan all day long. He'll make regular appearances for the next 3 days from baseball's winter meetings with any breaking news that involves your San Diego Padres. And we'll talk more about the rumors that have popped up today just as we get started going forward. But we got a contestant on the line. Let's get to it. It is time to play our first game of the week. Take on Woods. Take on Woods is brought to you by Bay Alarm, security and fire alarms for every business. We got you, and we've got line 2. Is this Tamara?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm good. You know how our game works?
Yeah.
All right, 5 questions, musical trivia. If you beat or tie Woods, you will be put into our grand prize drawing. It's a trip for 2 to Las Vegas to see New Kids on the Block on June 26th, the 2-night stay at the Park MGM, and a $100 gas card. You can get your own tickets to New Kids on the Block by going to Ticketmaster.com. Lots of dates coming up in 2026. And to give you an advantage tomorrow, we'll let you pick the category while Woods remains in the dark in isolation. Your choices are A Bundle of Joy, all 2-second songs that include the word joy. Extra Sweet, all 2-second songs that include the word sweet. And our new category, The Good Stuff, 5 song titles that begin with the word good. So, Bundle of Joy, Extra Sweet, or The Good Stuff tomorrow. What would you like to play?
Let's go with sweet.
Extra Sweet. All right, this one should be one that Adam Klug enjoys.
Is it extra sweet?
5 2-second songs that all include the word sweet in the name. Paulie will play each song for you. You have to give me the song title and the artist to score the point. If you don't know, you can say pass. We'll come back to it. if there's time left after the 60 seconds are over. And again, you'll go first, then Woods will go second, and every answer includes the word sweet. Tamara, are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right, listen closely. Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. Paul, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, the category is extra sweet. Tamara, your time begins when Paul plays our first song. Good luck. Let's take on Woods.
Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses.
Correct. Song number 2, Tamara.
Sweet Dreams. You're
Correct. Song number 3.
Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani.
Very good. Song number 4.
Sweet Symphony by I don't know.
No, incorrect. Let's go to song number 5.
I don't know. Pass.
That's the last one. It's only that. We're running out of time. Yeah, that's the 4th one. But it wasn't Bittersweet Symphony. There's the 5th one.
The Eagles. I don't know.
No, not bad guesses. You did very well tomorrow with a 3 on that. The ones you didn't get, Sweetest Thing by U2 and My Sweet Lord by George Harrison. They get harder as they go. You got Sweet Child of Mine, Sweet Dreams, and The Sweet Escape. That's 3. Let's put you on hold, and let's bring Woods back into the studio. He's got to do this game without the category. I will tell him, though, we've got all 2-second songs today. All right. Tomorrow's score is locked in. Put 60 seconds on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Tamara.
Sweet Child of Mine, Guns N' Roses.
Correct. Song number 2.
Sweet Dreams Are Made of These or This by Eurythmics.
Correct. Song number 3.
Pass.
Song number 4.
The Sweetest Thing by U2.
That is correct. Song number 5.
That's My Sweet Lord by George Harrison.
Correct. Song number 3.
My Sweet Taint by Britney Spears.
No, but you got just enough to sneak out the 4-3 win. Tomorrow, well played, but Woods is unbeaten this
Almost
month.
said Sweet Judy Blue Eyes.
She got that one that you didn't get.
What was it?
It was Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani. But you got
Actually, glad I didn't get
Sweet
that.
Lord and Sweetest Thing, and that was the difference in our game. Very well done. Very well played by both of you. A good start to the week. But Woods has yet to be taken down this month and take on Woods.
Feel it, man. If I could just make it 2 more weeks, that would be pretty incredible.
9 shows
9
left,
more.
and 2 of them are real
2
or
of them are
fake.
real or
So really
fakes.
only
Yeah.
about 6 games left
Yeah,
this
buddy.
week, this month to go perfect in December. You've never had a perfect month, I don't think.
No, I haven't.
And no ties even. It's been all wins so far for you.
Dub. Let's
5-0.
go. That's how you end the year.
Very nicely done.
Thank you. Feels good.
All right. Mentioned the Padres rumors that we're going to be covering and Sammy's going to be covering. We talked about it a little bit earlier with the possibility that, Nick Pivetta is being talked about in trade rumors at the winter meetings.
Hate this time of year.
I know.
Absolutely.
We just have to get through
it's
it.
Pointless.
What are your thoughts on Nick Pivetta's next season, though? Is it going to be as good?
I know.
Better,
That's the other
worse
thing
going forward.
You have to build in the potential regression because he was outstanding.
He was so good.
And of course you want it to go the exact same.
I mean, for Nick Pivetta, he is essentially a free agent to be. If he has another good season, he can cash in huge. So
Correct.
he's got plenty of motivation to have a huge season, which if he's going to, you'd love to have him on your roster. You need pitching. You need starting pitching. It's exactly what you're looking for. So for a lot of Padres fans, trading him makes negative sense. Like you're trying to fill starting pitching needs. Why would you trade the most dependable starting pitcher you had last year?
I think Dom put in the chat earlier. Yeah, trade him to Kansas City for Bergert and Kolek.
There you go.
get them all back. 2 for 1. Yeah, okay. You'd have to look at something like that. I don't see a team
You'll throw in
doing that.
Seth Lugo.
Yeah, throw
too.
in Lugo as well. I think Lugo had a down year for them last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Not
So,
quite as good as the year before.
Yeah.
I mean, he was second in Cy Young voting the year before,
Yeah,
I think.
it's
So
fantastic.
it wasn't as good, but I think that's part of the equation is there going to be regression or has he truly turned a corner in his career?
It's wild, though. Dylan Cease is given $30 million a year, and they obviously don't want regression from him. They're looking for an ascension from Dylan Cease and to take the next step. So he's making $30 million a year. You said Pivetta is going to make 19 this upcoming 18 this upcoming year.
Well, okay, let's put it this year. For 2026, who would you rather have in your rotation, Nick Pivetta or Dylan Cease? Even at the same price, take money out of it. Which pitcher do you think is going to have a better year, Nick Pivetta or Dylan Cease?
There is absolutely no way to tell. Absolutely,
It is a tough question.
Zero way to tell.
I mean,
I'm in love with Dylan Cease's stuff. It's the other part that I'm not. So I'll say Nick Pivetta.
The recent results would tell you Nick Pivetta is in a much better place going forward than what Dylan Cease came off of last season.
Yeah.
Dylan Cease has at least some work to do to fix whatever caused him to have an ERA that was about double Nick Pivetta's.
Struck out 200 dudes last year.
Nick Pivetta struck out a bunch of dudes last year too, though. Not 200, but had a really good season.
Sure.
And the way he thrived at Petco Park. Now, was Nick Pivetta's turnaround Ruben Niebla? Was it Petco Park? Was it just Nick Pivetta just becoming better? We don't know exactly what the factors were that had him make that leap from being kind of a 4 ERA guy with Boston to the less than 3 ERA guy he was with the Padres last year.
He was outstanding, and it's like do I want to count on that again from Nick Pivetta? Of course I do, and hopefully he just builds on it and continues to roll. But then he's gone anyway, so I could understand why they're probably taking phone calls.
That's why the conversations are taking place because of all of those other factors that you kind of don't think about with Nick Pivetta, with his contract, with his potential regression. Are you selling high or are you not? Could he take another step forward and become a Cy Young winner next year?
Nicky P was at 190. That's pretty damn good with
really
a much lower ERA. But yeah, I hope that can translate to this year. And if the Padres think that it can, then there's no reason to move him.
We'll get some thoughts from our friend Craig Elsten on this. Also want to talk about that World Cup draw that took place on Friday. A little soccer talk with our friend 619 Sports Craig Elsten coming up next year on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, listen, art often imitates life, and I'm about to tell you guys about QC Kinetics. And listen, I hurt my wrists. I don't know how I hurt my wrist. Few years back, it just woke up one day and they just were killing me, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't swing even a wiffle ball bat. Certainly couldn't swing a golf club. Couldn't play my guitar. Couldn't pick up my children. And pain has a way of stealing moments that matter the most. So if that sounds like you right now, you need to call QC Kinetics today. They believe that relief does not have to come from surgery or pain pills. They use your body's own natural healing abilities to repair and restore what's been lost, helping you move, live, and feel like yourself again. That's a long way to say, guys, it's a very simple injection. And I went to 5 treatments for my wrists. They've never been stronger. I'm lifting more weight than I've ever lifted in my life at 50. So they deliver long-term relief. Make this the season, your turning point, right? Pain stops defining you. How about this? It's a great time to use your HSA and FSA for treatments. Look at that. Art imitating life. As I learned today, HSA is a health spending account. It's non-taxed, right? So you put that money in there. Just call QC Kinetics at 619-614-PAIN.
I'll happily take that.
100%. 619-614-PAIN. Go in, get your knee, your back, your hips, whatever. Get back on the surfboard, back on the golf course, whatever it is that you love. Schedule a free consultation by calling 619-614-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics. Let them know Woodsy from 97.3 The Fan sent you.
and this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
This hour, 97 through the fan, is brought to you by Mission Fed. From first accounts to big life moments, Mission Fed can help. Saving shouldn't be stressful. Mission Fed makes it easier with great rates on savings, certificates, and ultra money market accounts. Grow your money the smart way. Check the latest rates and open an account at missionfed.com. Membership and account criteria apply. Wood's still in his feels about Notre Dame and everything that continues to come out. All the I think you're less heard about them missing out on the playoffs and all the criticism they're getting for not participating in the bowl
No,
games.
I'm more pissed about not. I don't care, bro. I've been a Notre Dame fan since I was 10 years old, of nothing but criticism my whole life. Nothing but. I couldn't care less. It bums me out that we don't get to see those dudes play for a national championship. That's what I care
Somebody
about.
said earlier, we got Craig waiting. Somebody said earlier, if USC, if the roles were reversed and USC thought they should have gotten into the college football playoffs and they didn't, would you accuse them of taking their ball and walking away?
100%.
Why we love you.
100%. I'd call them P-word, the whole bit. I do exactly what they're doing to me, but like they should be able to handle it too, just like I'm handling 100%. So, yeah, no question. Like you guys are so soft. And they're trying to get out of the Notre Dame game next year. Remember all that big hullabaloo?
I do remember that.
Yep. So,
which is bad for college football. I saw them arguing, on USC, like you need to keep playing Notre Dame. Notre Dame needs to keep playing USC.
Believe me, it's a guaranteed win for us every year. I want to play them every year.
We'll get Craig's thoughts on the sports news of the day right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Just a couple things to mention here, guys. Reports of a possible brush or encampment fire eastbound King Freeway just before Spring Street. Some smoke visible from the right shoulder. Also reports of a crash on westbound 52 just before the 5. That's got the fast lane blocked. Whether you're dashing through San Diego or heading out of town, make sure your car is in the game. Friendly techs at Valvoline Instant Oil Change will check your lights, wipers, tire pressure, battery, and more with every oil change. Grab holiday savings now at SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Craig Elsten joining us now on our David P. Shapiro fan hotline. Kind of a mixed weekend of results for Craig. The Sockers lost again yesterday. 0-2. You never see an 0-2 next to the Sockers name. But I hadn't brought it up yet. Your San Diego Wave won $2 million as the champions of the World Sevens Soccer title in Florida over the weekend. Like, that's pretty cool. A $2 million prize for those ladies is not that's not nothing.
I've been a part of those type of mini football tournaments before, the WMF World Cup that they play every 4 years. I did the 2015 one in the U.S. and the 2019 one in Australia, and it's that exact game. 6v6 with a keeper. So, 7v7 is how it's put together. The annual soccer tournament now, the $1 million prize soccer tournament in June, TST 7v7, has a women's bracket, and I hope the Wave put their team in. I mean, what I loved about what the Wave did is they brought their first team to the tournament. You had Cascarino out there and Fazer and Roby and like all the players that from the Wave were out there, from Kalen on up, and it was incredible. Although Didi, I saw Heritage was in goal as well. What a great accomplishment, and what a victory for small-sided soccer. I'm always a fan of seeing some small-sided soccer success. The Sockers are not experiencing success except off the field right now, where there was another great crowd, great presentation yesterday at
So
Front
Craig
Wave
is
Arena.
killing it, he says. It's just the team is not killing it yet.
I mean, I'm not me. It's a team effort.
All right.
It's a team effort. But listen, 0-2 for our team.
It's shocking. I think it's
at home.
Shocking.
At home, when we've got supporters that we've been working so hard to bring out that are doing it with the thunderclap and the drums, and then they're going, "Wait, I thought you guys win. You said something about winning along the way." So we'll be working to correct that. Next home game, December 30th. There's a road game in between, and they got to get their act together, but I think they will. There's a lot of talent on this team. So not worried about that yet, but are we trading our ace? What's going on?
I doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And, listen, I love D-Lan. We have him on this show all the time. D-Lan's a good friend of ours. But I do feel like, these are those kind of articles that you look at and you go, yeah, like Ben said, I got to write something. And I wouldn't surprise me if Dennis Lynn heard, hey, we're calling about Pivetta from another, rival GM. Or, I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you call about Nick Pivetta? And knowing that the Padres may be motivated to move him, I don't want to see him moved at all. But this is what's bumming me out, Craig, and everyone listening right now, too. And it's just a bigger argument about sports. Just don't fall in love with any players. It's hard to really fall in love with a player in the modern sports era, because especially a pitcher, because if they have a good season and they have an opt-out, guess what they're going to do? They're going to opt out, and then your team can't afford them, and then they go somewhere else. And that's going to be the way that it goes unless you develop these guys from when they're 18 and on, and you keep them till they're 24, 25, and then they go somewhere else. So it's just hard, man. You can't fall in love with many of these guys. Michael King is probably gone. Pivetta could be gone. It's just kind of a bummer to read as a sports fan in general.
Well, what concerns me is why Pivetta could be gone, because it's one thing to say, you know what, the Padres are going to try and sell high on Nick Pivetta.
Yes,
that's a way to think, right?
Yes,
Nick Pivetta had a career year. Maybe their internal evaluations and metrics say we probably just got the best that we possibly can get, and if somebody wants to give us a truck for him, it's going to make sense for the franchise. If that's what you're looking at, okay. As Ben knows very well from all the years we talked trade, all I care about is who'd you get back. Like, tell me who we traded, right, but what did we get back? If we got back better, then it's a good trade. So tell me that, okay. If you're telling me that you're moving him because you paid him $1 million last year and he's owed $19 million this year, and it's the cash money that's the issue when his AAV doesn't change from year 1 to year 2 against the cap, okay, that's a problem. So, because as you guys very well know, $19 million is not going to get you 2 good arms for your rotation.
No.
It's going to get you maybe one that's not as good as Nick Pivetta. So it's really hard to say that you can financially justify this. The only way you can say it is if it's a baseball trade, which, AJ makes sometimes.
When's the last time we've done something in this vein? The sell high. It feels like we're always buying high, always buying high. This was a very crafty, creative decision to get Nick Pivetta. And again, like you said, man, the financial gain is negligible, especially, but you can't say this was a baseball decision, but we're also trying to compete for a World Series, in my opinion, if you trade Nick Pivetta. That's the tough double speak there.
Well, it's also funny because you were saying you can't fall in love with players. Well, you sure can if they have 11-year contracts,
right?
That age poorly.
Yes.
You might as well fall in love with them because
you don't have a choice.
much of a choice,
right?
Yeah.
And we all know how everyone falls in love. I mean, people were ready to get Xander out of town. Man, he's constantly under the microscope. Those deals are going to age pretty poorly, as most of those deals do. But yeah, man, pitching. It's a good word of advice. The better you can develop young pitching, young, cheap, controllable pitching, the better off you will be.
It's true, and we've traded it.
Well, that's the thing. Had they still had, some pitching depth in the minors and, Kolek and Bergert and hadn't traded them, then you can justify at least talking about Nick Pivetta.
Sure, there's nobody to come up.
I just don't see how you put together a rotation. You're going to have to spend more than that just to have 5 major league, even mediocre starters going. You can't go into the season with, 3 starters and just go, okay, well, I guess we're just going to have bullpen days every 4th and 5th day. So you're going to end up spending more for less if you trade Nick Pivetta. That's why it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, unless you get, 2 legitimate starting pitchers back. And as much as I like Nick Pivetta, I don't think that that's the return on Nick Pivetta from anyone right now.
1-year rental, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's why in the grand scheme of the deadline day, the one that really stood out and continues to stand out is moving those 2 pitchers for me.
Yeah.
Who seems like a perfectly good catcher, but is he a star? Did they think that there's something that's above a 700 OPS that's just waiting to be unlocked? We didn't see it during his time. Not that he played poorly.
No, it was a desperation move. But again, like your options were, Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz. And you really thought if we cannot go into October with those guys behind the dish. And was it an overpay? Yeah, certainly it was an overpay. But you had to make a move. And those moves at the deadline, under the gun, we got to do this. We can make a run. I get it. Didn't make sense now, with 6 months behind us to look at it. But now you ride with Freddie for me because, like you said, you don't have a choice. You're not getting those 2 guys back.
And the other part of that, the unsaid part of that, is the absolute failure to utilize Luis Camposano in any way, sense, or form, and to consistently point at the 20 at-bats you gave him when he mostly grounded out to shortstop, under duress from a manager who clearly did not like him.
Correct.
At all. And I look at that as an organizational failure. I do. I think that you don't have to trade 2 promising starters for Freddie Fermin if you've properly developed Luis Camposano. I said all year on Padres Hot Tub, I thought there were probably 17 teams that would just have him hitting third in their lineup and just riding with it.
Just ride with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Tampa Bay would just have him starting against every left-hander and every reverse righty and every pitcher who threw X or Y. They would just put him in the lineup because he's got hitting talent. And hitting talent doesn't always come along in Major League Baseball. But the Padres just left him in El Paso the entire year and then traded away 2 starters. And now, like you said, they had no choice, Diaz or Maldonado, devil's bargain. Well, now what are our choices? J.P. Sears, Matt Waldron, Kyle Hart right now for the rotation.
I'm fired up.
If you traded Nick Pivetta, getting what?
Right.
Some young kid, maybe. Okay. So you got to spend through it to do it.
Yeah, you got to clean up your mistakes. The only way you can do it is with money at this point. But TN Overload in the chat says Soroka just signed for $7.5 million with escalators that can get to $9.5. Even bottom of the barrel pitching is nearly $10 million per.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Which does make development important, but we've continued to put it on the credit card every single year.
The American way, baby.
As a franchise, and we're really starting to see the APR mount.
Yeah.
About
27%.
What's going on? Yeah.
It's true. Hey, tomorrow we're going to have
probably just pull out of his HSA.
Put it on your HSA. I learned about today. John Connor from Mad Friars is actually going to be on tomorrow. Awesome. I think I said 8:30 to talk about, what's down there? And is this the first trade deadline when we get there that AJ Preller has to sit on his hands? I really don't know. It feels pretty dire right now. I'll be honest with you.
But it did at this time last year. They didn't have Pivetta.
Sure, it did.
Didn't have anything,
Sure
and looked like it was pretty bleak. And then they ended up winning 90 games and having a
the year
shot in the
before.
postseason.
Yep.
Last couple minutes, Greg, just because I promised to ask you about your thoughts on the World Cup draw where the U.S. landed. Everyone seems very optimistic about the grouping that they got with Paraguay and Australia.
Yeah, I mean, the show was an absolute joke.
A little long.
What's the
complete
European playoff C? What is that? Who or
There's
who?
Turkey is the most likely to come out of that.
Okay.
And also the most likely to be the other dangerous team with a good chance to win.
Got it.
This draw is, if you don't win this group, what's going on? If you don't advance from this group, don't leave the stadium.
Wow.
Like just coaching staff can just go ahead and rent a car.
Yeah. Just pack it up.
Call and rent a car and get the heck out of here. Don't leave on the bus. So, this is a dream draw for the United States, playing in the United States, and they've got to win their group. And if they win their group, they won't play any of the first place teams coming out in the next round. And that's what you want to see, because those are all the teams that are going to be favored to beat the United States, the Englands and whatnot. So, and I don't have memorized where the groups go to the groups, and I don't know that anyone does yet. We all will have that figured out eventually. But there's a great path for the U.S. to at least be good enough to get to the new round of 32 knockout. I mean, literally, they have to. But the idea is to at least get to the 16 and then keep going.
Yeah, but they could lose to any of those teams as well, because they're all going. Hey, we got the United States. That's a good draw in our path as well. Craig, we're out of time. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you again next Monday, last Monday of the year for us.
All right, looking forward to it, fellas. Have a great week.
Craig Elsten on our David P. Shapiro fan hotline. David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. Paulie has the Reindl Report, and I think a biggest fan announcement coming up next on 97.3 The Fan.
How's the walking going, buddy?
I did a lot of practicing this weekend. I think it's going pretty well. I still have to consciously think about it, but my mom even had some tips for me. She said, keep your feet a little closer together.
Wide?
Yeah, I was a little out wide.
Your power stance.
Chin up.
Okay, yeah. You look good.
Yeah, hips forward.
I think for you, again, the key is in the chin. If you can keep your
Chin
chin
is up.
parallel to the floor, that
think
seems
about that.
to correct everything else.
Everyone seems to be thinking that I'm walking much more like a normal person now, which is great. And
Stop being self-conscious about being tall.
Paulie was saying, Chrisella was talking about it on Friday and said, I had never even noticed. I'd known him for 30 years and didn't even notice that he walks funny. But you guys noticed, you've noticed for years and you didn't say anything.
Since the day we met.
Yeah.
Walked out of the bar. I went, man, this guy walks weird.
The first time we met.
And he has terrible ideas about radio. I don't know if this is going to work.
He's got large calves, though.
Got huge calves, supple.
Thanks again to Craig Elsten for joining us with some thoughts on the Padres. Again, I always caution every offseason is going to look pretty bad at this point for most teams. I mean, unless you're the Toronto Blue Jays and you went out and signed Dylan Cease, there hasn't been many moves made. The Padres are in the grouping with about 26 other teams that haven't done much yet. And
how many of those are for sale?
Is there any other teams that are for sale right now?
Don't think so.
I think only the Padres.
It's a wrinkle. Throws a wrinkle in there.
It does.
And of course, you look at it and you go, well, they're not spending any money.
It does,
This is
but
suck.
at the same time, you don't want to lower the value of a team you're about to sell.
Don't you? Not lower the value, but lower the price per
but
se.
if the Padres do anything like dramatically, like to lower payroll, aren't they going to damage the fan base? Isn't that the last thing you want to do?
That's the last thing you want to do.
I mean, you want a rabid fan base for a new owner.
But if you're,
and
do you not care even a little? I don't think you care.
I mean,
put yourself in their shoes.
If your bids are, $150 million less, because it's like, I don't know, fans don't seem that excited about this team anymore, then you've just made a horrible mistake.
I think that's a very.
You want to keep the excitement for this team as strong as possible and show potential new owners what they're getting.
With minimal investment, though, if you're trying to get out, that has to be in question, right?
It's not a Ferrari. They know what they're getting.
I mean, I don't expect the Padres to, be giant players for big free agents. They're not signing Kyle Tucker. They're not
Kyle
signing,
Schwarber.
Alex Bregman. But I also don't think they're going to actively slash payroll this offseason.
Well,
Derek Grupner has told us they're not.
They really can't.
And they can't.
They can't. That's the good news is they can't.
Literally bringing back everybody that's under contract would almost, you know what I mean? It's almost like because of the raises that are built in. It's like that. Just bringing people back will be a raise in payroll.
Correct. So that
technically
you can't let them off the hook with that, right? You got to add pieces. So I don't know. I mean, look, you can caution fans. You're right. Fans can feel cautious. Fans can feel optimistic. Fans can feel despondent. I'm a little bit of both each and every day. I'm a little bit of all of them. Some days I'm like, hey man, I can't wait to see what the team looks like, and then I'm like, until we get this thing sold and moving in the right direction, it's going to be I'm going to feel a little bit uneasy.
And we'll continue to follow the rumors and what everybody's saying about the team because we care and we want to know and get an idea of what the plan may be. But to say at this point, this offseason's terrible, you just don't know. You can't really make that judgment until really March rolls around.
March.
I mean, that's when you judge how the offseason went. You certainly can't on the first day of the winter meetings.
I mean, I can confidently say the offseason hasn't gone great.
Yeah, it hasn't gone
anything. The manager, you've announced a team sale. Like, it's been a rough offseason.
Fair.
Make no mistake.
It's fair.
I'm talking more player acquisition wise.
Sure.
Nothing's happened yet. There's nothing to judge at this point, other than Dylan Cease signed with the Blue Jays. You knew he was gone. You kind of knew he was gone, and we were all pretty okay with that. All right, before we get to the Reindl Report, it is time to announce today's biggest fan. If you hear your name called, you will have 10 minutes to call us back at 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973 to qualify for the grand prize. 20 tickets, you and your friends, for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all of the fan staff, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Today's biggest fan is, what's his first name? Brody from San Diego.
Michael
Brody from San Diego. I don't have it written down. Paulie just got the name. Michael Brody from San Diego, Brode. If that's you, you can call now, 833-288-0973. If you haven't heard your name called yet, it might be because you didn't put it into the drawing. You can do that by going to 97.3 The Fan, sd.com/biggest fan for your opportunity to win. All right, well, Brian picks up his phone. Paulie, you can get started with the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All right. Happy Monday, gentlemen.
Happy Monday.
Just one more Monday left in the year for us.
Mama.
How about that? All right, we'll get started here. A little college football. We've spent a lot of the morning talking about the college football playoffs and Notre Dame missing it out.
I'm
missing out
excited.
on it.
So excited for
Alabama's in.
Hey, congrats.
Sorry,
Roll Tide.
Sorry. Now, we did mention it briefly right before the start of Don't Do This, and it was timely then. Wanted to bring back the Holiday Bowl here in San Diego, getting ready to kick off on January 2nd. The teams were announced later yesterday. It's going to be Arizona versus SMU. Don't know how much to say on that you guys have, but
Do you know what they used to call SMU when I was a little kid? Because I'm
Smooth.
from Dallas.
What do they call them?
They said SMU stands for Smell My Underwear.
Smell My Underwear. So Arizona will be taking on Smell My
funnier than
Underwear.
I thought I was going to.
I was a kid, like, oh, SMU, Smell My Underwear. Yeah, all right. Southern Methodist University.
They will be playing in not just the Holiday Bowl, it is the newly minted Trust and Will
Hey, like
Holiday
that.
Bowl.
We like that.
46th Holiday Bowl is going to be now known as the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. I think what was it, about a year ago when you guys took on the Trust and Will endorsements.
You know, it's funny because
Business must have been good.
Ben was mocking me for not having an HSA. But I mean, your kids were like in their 20s before you decided to get a will or a trust.
Fair enough.
Mock.
It's a pretty good matchup. I mean, Arizona's ranked number 17. SMU had an 8-win season. Arizona opened as 1.5-point favorites. Now 3.5-point favorites. So the early money coming in on the Wildcats. You know that Arizona fans from Tucson and Phoenix are
They'll
going to
be here.
travel very, very well to San Diego over the holidays. And it's the last bowl game of the season, January 2nd.
Late.
At 5 p.m. on Fox. So we've
Last
got-
taste.
Has the Holiday Bowl ever been after New Year's?
No, this is the first time it's
Okay.
ever been after New Year's Day. It's almost always been in the window between Christmas and New Year's, but this is the first time it'll actually be
I
played.
feel like it's December 27th, like every year.
December 29th or 28th. It's usually right around there, but this is a little bit different. Probably worked better for the TV windows for Fox, but that'll give it a good spot for people who are dying for a little more college football at the end of the year.
We'll switch gears to the NFL. We'll probably save some more NFL talk for later this morning or even more tomorrow. There was Sunday Night Football last night. The Chiefs, I think they're not
Cooked.
dead yet,
They're
but
cooked.
they are on life support. I think the NFL said they had like a 15 or 16% chance of making the playoffs if they lost last night to Houston. They did. CJ Stroud and the Texans won 20-10 on Sunday Night Football. Part of the reason that the Chiefs lost as well, you got to make your field goals. And they did have a missed field goal earlier in the game. I was actually watching this and I go, that might have been the loudest field goal doink I've ever heard.
What does the end of a dynasty sound like? If you could put a sound to the end of a football dynasty, Paulie, what would it sound like?
It'll sound just like this. This missed field goal from Harrison Butker last night.
Operation Clean and the kick. No good.
That really
jarring.
encapsulates the Chiefs' whole season.
That's what, listen to the end. They say exactly that.
Clean and the kick. No good.
And that is Kansas City 2025.
Perfect. I mean,
God,
they actually, I was looking at the numbers yesterday. they're really not any worse. In fact, in many ways, they're better than last year's team that went to the Super Bowl.
Crazy.
But they lose every clutch moment, every close call, everything. It's all catching up to them in terms of karma this year. The kicks that went in are hitting the uprights.
Parity in the NFL. They're the weird team where, like, if what is it, 15% chance of making the playoffs. If the Chiefs somehow got in, would it surprise you if they went on a run and won the Super Bowl?
Of course not.
Probably not.
Which is why Alabama will be your national champion.
100%. You have spoken that into existence.
And Travis Kelce dropped a couple of key, including one that he dropped right into the defense's hands for an interception. He looked sick. Like, this is how it's going to end for me this year. So, yeah, it's just not going well for the Chiefs, finally.
It was cold. It was in the 20s, I think, in Kansas City.
So
it sounded like the goalpost froze and shattered.
And then shattered. Do it again. I want one more time. Operation Clean and the kick. It wasn't screwed in enough.
I heard it on TV. I was watching live when that happened. I go, Jesus Christ. I was like scared. I think it scared my dog. Operation
Clean and the kick.
I was like, is that the loudest?
It's soothing for me for some reason.
You ever have one of those sliding doors and you throw like a ball into it? That's kind of what it's
like. The screen door?
But the glass sliding door. That's kind of the same.
Clean and the kick.
And then it rattles the screen as well.
So
it's
good.
just
no good. And then you hear Chris Collins.
He go, no good. Brilliant.
All
Brilliant,
right.
brilliant.
Finally, we will wrap it up in Hollywood. The 2026 Golden Globe Awards were announced. The nominations came out earlier this morning. I'll try to sum it up for you as best I can on the film side of everything.
Aha.
Yes.
The film side.
The film side went to one battle after another. They led the way with 9 nominations. Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actor.
What a movie.
Sentimental Value in the film department had 8 nominations. Sinners with 7, followed by Hamnet, Frankenstein, and Wicked.
Hamnet.
It's like Hamlet, but with an N.
Hamnet.
Hamnet.
It's Hamnet.
Catch all the ham.
It is Shakespearean.
Cast a wide net. Collect all the ham.
Hamnet.
And then on the television side, The White Lotus led everybody with 6 nominations. And then Walt Goggins was nominated. Amy Lou Wood was nominated from that one,
Nice.
followed by Adolescence.
That was really good.
That was the one that was taken all in one take.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
One
SWAT,
shot.
like
Yes.
show. Yeah. Phenomenal. Only Murders in the Building and Severance all had 4 apiece.
Okay.
There were some snubs, of course.
Notre Dame.
Landman was like one of the biggest ones.
Landman was snubbed.
They were left out of the
Not
TV
even Billy
categories.
Bob?
I have fallen in love with. I was literally last night. Come on, all right, wrap it up. Let's go to bed. Brush your teeth, because there was a new Landman out. I ran into my room, jumped in bed, and watched the latest, very overwrought Taylor Sheridan Landman. But man, do I love some Billy Bob Thornton. He's driving with his wife, and they're driving to a funeral. And he fires up a cigarette. She's on his ass. He fires up a cigarette, and she goes, "Oh, baby, am I driving you crazy? So you had to smoke?" He goes, "You're driving me to suck the Freon out of an air conditioning unit, but I'll settle for a cigarette." And I was like, "That's it for me. I'm done." He's brilliant in this show. Brilliant. It is very overwrought. So weeping at the grave of someone. It's very, very.
Take it was too early for Pluribus to get any.
No, they got a
nominations?
couple.
Oh, they did.
Rhea Seehorn was nominated.
Okay.
And I
Nice.
think that landed under drama television. Something
So
like that.
hard to categorize shows nowadays.
Yeah.
Is it a comedy? Is it a drama?
Well, and then there were some of the movies. Now, granted, I never know the
Yeah,
Oscar-nominated
I'm so
movies.
far behind.
I've heard of a couple of them, but then Marty Supreme was listed, and I don't believe that's the new Timothée Chalamet movie. I think it comes out on Christmas, and so it hasn't even been released yet, but it was nominated for the Golden Globes. Everybody that has already seen it that is part of that. There was one other noticeable thing this morning with the Golden Globe nominations. They have introduced a brand new category for Best Podcast.
Ooh. Did we make it?
We did not make it.
We're not really a podcast. We're a radio show.
No, true.
Some people, we might only be a podcast.
True.
If they listen on Apple or Spotify or anywhere else. The podcast nominations, Best Podcast, are Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, Call Her Daddy with Alex Cooper, Good Hang with Amy Poehler, the Mel Robbins podcast, Smartless, and Up First.
All right. It's our competition right there.
If you haven't seen the movie, One Battle After Another, the other or another, One Battle After Another.
Yes.
I highly recommend it. A lot of it is shot here, down by the border. Was shot in San Diego. We remember that. The Leonardo DiCaprio, Paul Thomas Anderson movie. Benicio del Toro. Sean Penn is such a demon in this movie. Leo's incredible. It's such a good movie. And so, what a weird like a kind of an odd subject for a film.
Yeah, I saw it got some mixed reviews, but you are giving it a glowing review.
It is unbelievable.
It
The
landed
acting in
the
it is unreal.
Best Picture category for musical or comedy. One Battle After Another.
Comedy.
Nouvelle Vague. No Other Choice. Marty Supreme. Begonia with Emma Stone and Blue Moon.
It's listed as a black comedy in its description.
There's some funny parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some parts where but it's PTA. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. So the attention to detail, like in Boogie Nights and movies like that, it's staggeringly great. It's long. It's took me a couple days to get through, but it's really, really well done. Great film.
Michael B. Jordan got his first nomination for Sinners. I only point that out because that's the only movie of its category that I saw.
I've not seen it. Is it it's a vampire movie?
Vampire, yeah. It's really good though.
Weapons got some nominations as well, I think. So,
all right, thank you, Paulie. Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, it's a Reindl Report.
Golden Globes. I think that's the one. Is that the one Nikki Glaser hosted last year? She's back for year 2 this year.
It's a more freewheeling awards show hosted by the Hollywood Foreign Press. They do the dinner and everything, and it's
Did
TV.
they have a Navy Q&A?
Like they did not. I don't think. No. Oscars is just the movies, but when the TV people are there, I don't know. To me, I'm more interested in TV now than I was.
I am too. I know all the TV shows.
Yeah, by far.
Even if I haven't seen them, I'm aware of them. I've seen them.
It's crazy. Crazy how it's flipped.
Best musical or comedy series: Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, The Studio, Only Murders in the Building. Like I've seen every one of those.
Yeah, I'll be locked in on those. As Bee's Knees says, Golden Globes is silly, not meant to be taken seriously, but I'll be locked the hell in. I will too. I like the Golden Globes. Always a lot of fun.
All right, let's take a quick timeout. We'll give you the latest from baseball's winter meetings. Again, our Sammy Levitt's on the scene, so he'll pass along anything that happens, including supposed to hear from both A.J. Preller and Craig Stammen later today. We'll get to all of that coming up after a quick timeout. Bennett Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Paulie just talking about the new title sponsor of the Holiday Bowl, the Trust and Will Holiday Bowl. We've been with Trust and Will now for it's about a year. It was this time last year we were first approached and asked the question, do you guys have your estate documents, a will or a trust to take care of your family? And I think we both kind of said, why should we? We don't have that much to worry about. And they go, if you have
children,
a family
right?
and you have children, you better have a trust or a will, something to at least give some instructions for your family, or they could be left in probate court. Or worse, not have a guardian for your children if you're gone. You can do this all online and easily with Trust and Will.
Yeah, very simple to go to trustandwill.com. Use the code FAN, F-A-N. When you check out, you get 20% off your trust or will. Highly recommend looking into that trust as well. Keep your family out of lengthy, expensive probate court. They make it very simple. And again, I tell you every day about all the things I'm not great at. They make it very simple for folks like myself to go in. You answer some questions. You nominate some people. You get it all down there. Then they'll send you your documents. You get them notarized and you throw them in the desk and forget about it. And it's there for your family after you perish.
Peace of mind is what you get, though. They get that for when you're gone. You get, while you're alive, the peace of mind of knowing that it's taken care of. And isn't that what we're all really chasing?
Yep.
Peace of mind. And, 20% off is great as well. Just use the code FAN at checkout when you go to trustandwill.com for 20% off your trust or will. Again, at trustandwill.com.
and this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Unless you count Mike Soroka, there have been no big moves yet at baseball's winter meetings, but there's been plenty of speculation as to the first big chips that could be in play this week. Free agency, I think we've been talking for a while, Woods. Kyle Schwarber is one that is expected to sign early, maybe even during the winter meetings. Phillies remain the favorites to retain his services.
Now,
there are other bidders.
The Pirates went in and made a deal, or made an offer, allegedly.
Yeah.
4-year deal, no terms.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that is being talked about at these winter meetings that could actually make it harder to get deals done is there are very few teams that are truly like non-contenders. When you have the Pittsburgh Pirates at least throwing lip service at wanting to, yeah, but they're not, you don't see them necessarily going to be selling off a lot of players. Really, the only team that everyone's kind of circling around like sharks are the St. Louis Cardinals, are the team that doesn't look like they're going to be very aggressive this offseason, would certainly be interested in offloading salary. The other 29 teams are all, at least ostensibly at this point in time, wanting to add talent and get better for next season and think that they can reasonably
Are the only ones
compete.
in a rebuild?
They're not, I mean, obviously like the Rockies and the White Sox are still in the, bottom stages, but they've hit rock bottom and they're looking to at least start the bounce back up, if not all the way to the postseason, to start, adding and not subtracting. At least they've subtracted everything they probably can. I mean, Luis Robert Jr. could still get traded. There's still some possibilities out there, but most teams are in the adding stage, not the subtracting stage at this point. One name, though, that has been brought up a lot that could be traded, maybe even as soon as the winter meetings, is Ketel Marte of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I wonder, to me, there's some red flags there. Why are the Diamondbacks interested in trading Ketel Marte? He certainly had the situation where he was gone for a couple of days last year, and dealing with things. And there were some reports that were coming out of the clubhouse as to
which were quickly squashed.
They were squashed,
by
yes.
guys like Perdomo and Torey Lovullo.
But the fact that they're entertaining offers to trade a guy who is as productive and consistently productive as he is just leads me to go. There's something not right totally between the Arizona Diamondbacks and Ketel Marte.
I think teams are just checking in, is the report that I read. They're just checking in. When you see a crack in the armor, maybe that is. I asked AJ Preller this question many years ago. Remember, I asked him about chasing ambulances, right? I asked him, I said, look, when you see a team's closer blow out his knee in the WBC, do you then place a call to their GM the day after and go, hey, sucks to see what happened with Edwin Diaz. Could I interest you in blank? Right? You see a crack in the armor and you go after it. Blood in the water. You, as a GM, you have to look at that and go, maybe they are unhappy with Ketel Marte there. Maybe he wants out. Maybe he wants a fresh start somewhere else. Does he think they're going to be a contender next year? You make a call. I don't know. I think, Benny, there's really only a couple dozen guys in Major League Baseball who can wake up every morning and go, I'm not getting traded. Maybe a dozen, maybe 15 guys in baseball literally can wake up and go, I'm here. I am here. There's no way they can trade me. There's no way I would accept a trade. And there's no way anybody else can afford me.
Shohei, Aaron Judge.
Right.
Right.
Bryce Harper, Bryce Harper, they talked about it, but he's got full no trade. Manny Machado's got full no trade.
I'm saying friction with Dave Dombrowski in the offseason.
But I'm saying that wake up and go, this is it. This is where I'm at. This is where I'm going to finish my career. Sander Bogarts is probably one of those guys, knowing full well he's probably here.
You know what?
Until he's done.
I don't expect him to get traded, but I've heard at least fans bring up the possibility of, a return to the Red Sox or the Padres would eat money and sort of thing. I don't think the Padres would want to do that.
No.
But it's certainly not the craziest thing that I've ever heard.
But my overall point is that I do think I think you'd be crazy not to check in if you're one of those teams that you mentioned. I saw the Red Sox were interested. Who else? The Phillies, I think I saw were interested.
I feel like I've been hearing more on the sell side, though, from Ketel Marte.
Yeah.
That they're, if not actively shopping him, they're making it known at least that they're listening to offers.
Red Sox, Rays,
more
Tigers.
than just picking up the phone. Like, okay, give us a call. Tell us what you think about Ketel Marte. The other team that does seem to be at least interested in shopping a couple of big name players, and I think it's more because they're expiring contracts, are for our former friends Mackenzie Gore and CJ Abrams with the Washington Nationals. If they get good offers for either of those players or both, that they would be willing to perhaps make a move this offseason.
I saw one of the bigger trades of the weekend went down. Jose Ferrer went from the Nationals to Seattle for rookie catcher Harry Ford and minor league pitcher Isaac Lyon. Seattle just picked up a really hard-throwing lefty to complement Munoz and Brash in the back end of their bullpen. But it was a steep price. Ford was ranked the 42nd prospect in MLB. But yeah, man, they're going to have a really, really good bullpen again in Seattle to go with that really, really good starting rotation that they have in Seattle. So that was another little small move that was made over the weekend, but one I think will pay dividends for both.
And speaking of relievers, there seems to be a lot of smoke around Robert Suarez to the Dodgers that you've been hearing a lot.
Dude, on what planet are they going to lay out more money for a reliever after the Tanner Scott debacle?
They have the money
because you can't.
They have the money to.
Well, I guess you can't use Yamamoto to close games in April, May, June, and July. I mean, they got the money to do it, but Friedman to follow up a 70. What was it? 4 years, 72, 5 years, 72 for Tanner Scott. It did not work out at all. Then you're going to go out and get Robert Suarez. All right.
It's what you always say. The Dodgers are the one team with the ability to
make
swallow their mistakes and try again. And they actually do have $80 million coming off the books this offseason.
Crazy.
Which puts them in, at the very least, an advantageous position compared to most teams that don't have nearly that much money.
That's what's coming off the
books. That's coming off the books.
And none of them really particularly key players either. It's just dead.
Who are they? Do you know who they are off the top of your head?
Let's see. Dodgers money coming off the books.
They don't pick Kershaw anymore.
Yeah,
he's retired.
That's one of them. It let's see.
I mean, think about how excited we were to finally get Eric Hosmer's
Like 13 mil.
off the
We're like,
books.
woo, we're free.
Kirby Yates, Michael Conforto, Chris Taylor. Did they re-sign Taylor?
No,
They haven't
went to the Angels.
Oh, that's right. He already left. Yep. So those are no one you saw in the playoffs.
No,
almost at
that
all.
really helped them at all. 80 mil.
Yeah.
It's good. It's nice that they caught a break. Katie will tell us all about it. So, in her next piece for The Athletic.
All right, final time out here with Ben and Woods. We'll come back. If you want to get to a little more football talk, we talked a lot about the Big Ten championship. There were some other big college football games over the weekend. We can get to some of that and more before we get to 10 o'clock with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3.
Spin it.
The Fan. Oh, you want to spin it too? We can do that. First, before traffic, I want to tell you about Prize Picks, my daily fantasy spot. So many different ways to play with Prize Picks now with all the games on televisions, and you're already watching them anyway. Why not have a chance to win some real money with Prize Picks, setting daily fantasy lineups between 2 and 6 players. So here's how it works. If you want to set a small lineup, like a 2-player lineup, you can win. You can win a little bit more than what you put into your lineup, or you can go big, put 6 players into a lineup, go with a power play and win huge, up to 2,000 times your money on one of those big lineups. Or you can go with a flex play where maybe you set a lineup of 5 players. You only need to win 4 of those to actually win money with a little bit less of a payout. That's just how you tailor it for yourself. Whatever you're watching, you combine sports, basketball, football, hockey, even whatever you're watching, you've got ways to play with Prize Picks. You can do it today. When you download the Prize Picks app, use the code KWFN. You're going to get $50 in lineups. When you play your first $5 lineup, that's code KWFN to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Deposits and withdrawals are easy with most major pay systems today, like Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, whatever. When you win, you can get your money out really quickly. I've done it a few times. 10, 15 minutes, it's back in your account. So I love that about Prize Picks. You can check it out as well. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for details.
this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
I don't think I've ever seen Woods as passionate about a sports take as he is about defending Notre Dame's decision
Needling
to
me.
not
well,
go to a
everything's
ball game.
equal in college football, and these little teams, they have a legit beef, and they're not the same. It's not the same. You get used for 6 weeks. 6. You're with some girl, and you fall head over heels, and she goes, I love you. Oh, my God, I love you. You're the best. You're the highest ranked I've ever had. I love you so much. Your wedding day comes, she goes, actually, I'm going to marry your brother. Will you still come to the wedding?
You're not getting back with that girl no matter what.
Will you still come to the wedding?
You're only hurting yourself by going forward.
Will you perform the ceremony after I told you for 6 weeks how much I loved you and you were the one? Will you please come? Will you do the ceremony? Crazy.
I don't know why you wouldn't want to see Notre Dame play one more time.
Because I don't. Because half the team's not going to play.
Fine, but isn't it a good thing to get some of your underclassmen some playing time?
I trust the coaching staff will have them ready to go for week 1.
I don't know. Speaking of bowl games, the Aztecs got their bowl game announced. They will be playing in the New Mexico Bowl against pretty good opponent, 25th ranked North Texas. That game will be on December 27th. Aztecs will get tested against one of the better offensive teams in the group of 5. They were the runners-up in the AAC, lost to Tulane in the championship game over the weekend, but a chance for a 10th win for Sean Lewis's team. And they also got some bad news. I don't know, bad news or just news over the weekend, but Nebraska is hiring away their defensive coordinator, Rob Orrick, who had such a good season at San Diego State. So they're going to need a new DC next season for Sean Lewis because Nebraska,
he's gone.
Yeah, they came poaching after the good season for San Diego State's defense.
That's as much as it sucks, that's a plus. That's a check mark. That's a check mark.
It does show that you're making progress. You didn't lose your head coach, but you are losing your defensive coordinator to another job. So they'll have to hire a new one. They will face North Texas, the Mean Green, in the New Mexico Bowl. And it's a good time slot. It's a Saturday afternoon, the 27th, 2:45 on ESPN. Or maybe they should just not play and protest ESPN's college football playoff selection of Notre Dame.
They could
stand solidarity with Notre Dame.
Have a firm stance on it.
That'd be a bad idea.
He'd be the biggest union buster in the history. If we ever had a radio union, this dude would be kicking his way to the front to run through the barricades. Not me. Don't count me in.
I'm not
like them. I'm not like them. What are you offering? I'll take it. I want it. I need it. We're like, no, dude, we need you here. Brothers in arms. No. As he pushes us out of the way, Paulie, kicks the barricade down and runs inside to the safe cover.
I'm just thinking you might be sad when New Year's rolls around and your team's not playing.
Ben, I'll be drunk on New Year's, hate watching football. I will be so good. I will be so happy. It's like when the Padres get knocked out in the first round. You're like, all right, I'm watching every pitch. Hate every pitch. I don't miss a thing. My mental health will be much better. I don't have to worry about it. Last year was awesome, beating IU and Georgia and it was awesome. It was awesome. It was great. It was a fun run. But this year I'll just get to twirl my mustache and watch. Just watch.
Who do you think's going to win? Anybody? Just quickly.
Ohio
on record.
State.
Yeah.
You still think Ohio State?
They're so good. And I know they lost to Indiana, and Indiana played a great game, but I still think it's Ohio State's to lose.
Your Texas Tech Red Raiders.
That's who I'll be pulling for the
a
most.
A lot of under the radar, kind of like, oh, what? This is a team that is really, really good. They spent a ton on their roster this offseason.
Let me say this. I think Miami's going to win a couple games. They are nasty. They are motivated. This last 6 weeks or something,
they can beat Texas A&M for sure,
no question. And I think,
but then they play Ohio State, so I don't know that they can win that one.
But they look mean, they look nasty, like the Canes that I grew up watching. Holy smokes, right? Like, yes, he was part of those Canes I grew up watching. Paulie, they look pretty good. So I like some of these matchups. I do. I mean, the bottom ones are going to be pretty rough, but that happens.
I mean, the most interesting one, I think, will be if Alabama beats Oklahoma. They'd play Indiana in the Rose Bowl.
Be awesome.
Which would be, I think, a real interesting game.
Be so good.
I'd love to see an Indiana just smoke Alabama.
Oh, so would I. So would I.
We can be aligned there.
Yes, we will. We'll be aligned for a lot of these.
We will be.
Yeah, because your team never makes it, and my team got shafted. So,
all right, let's check traffic, and then we can spin the topic wheel at least once before we get out of here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 855 Get Ross Traffic Center, protecting San Diego after accidents or injury. Here's Kelly Danick.
This game day traffic report is brought to you by Crystal Geyser, Alpine Spring Water. Got a few things wrapping up our morning drive. Southbound 15, right before the 163, accident over to the right shoulder. Got a crash blocking the fast lane, westbound 52 before the 5. And eastbound 54 before the 805, accident blocking the fast lane. Tow truck is on scene assisting with that. What makes Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water different? They always bottle their Alpine Spring Water less than 1.5 miles from the spring source. And all of their bottles are made with 50% recycled plastic from their own recycling plants. Crystal Geyser, bottled at the spring source. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
One of life's questions here. Why do round pizzas come in square boxes?
Is this an existential question?
I think a round box would be really hard to make. Don't you?
There's no such thing as a round box, right? A box is a shape.
Inherently square.
Inherently square, right?
Of some sort. I mean, there is obviously unused space in the corner of a pizza box.
Wait, what's the question?
Why do they put round pizzas in square boxes?
What? Do you have an answer?
No, I don't. That's just the
it's
question.
easier to stack, I think, boxes that aren't circles, right?
The corners help you pick up the pieces from the crust side. It gives you a little
little room in the corner to start there.
You can just make a bigger circle though, but then it slides around.
You always start with the one from the corner because it's easier to pick up.
If you have packaging,
pepperoncinis or some ranch dip or something, there's a spot
for it. Yeah,
for those things.
Would more square pizzas and square boxes make sense?
But they do make square pizzas.
They do.
They put them in square boxes, and it doesn't seem to hurt anybody that there's more pizza in the box per square.
Somebody says because the unfolded boxes before they're made, they lay flat.
Yeah. Well, would a circular? You couldn't do that. A circular box would it not lay flat
it up,
as well?
Have the little tabs or whatever. You kind of pop it up.
I think you could do it. I hate that question because it's like now I'm looking for a deeper meaning.
Real answer to that question, and we're just kind of speculating with our uneducated minds about why pizza boxes are square.
Yeah.
Do you care what the shape of your pizza is? Like like square pies, like tavern pies?
Yeah, I don't care.
You don't mind?
No.
Once you eat it, it all tastes the same.
Yeah, I have pizza preferences.
I actually don't love how pizza comes to a little point in the middle in the circle. That's a weird bite. Just the little tip of the pizza.
The first bite?
The first bite.
Oh,
well, if that's where you start. I usually start with a little corner of the crust.
That's psychotic behavior.
No, it's not.
You pick up the piece of pizza and eat it from the side?
A little corner.
You also eat your candy cane
we already went through
the long way, right? No, you eat yours
you put the hook in your mouth.
No, you don't. You hold the hook. The hook is there for a holding.
I think that's the insane
and
behavior.
You suck the bottom part first. The hook is for you to hold it and to hook on things. So you take a piece of pizza out of any box, you hold it up, you put your hand
two
underneath
hands
it,
on it,
and then you go
for the
side
crust corner. Because I don't like to be left with just the crust at the end. But
Oh,
I
I
like
do.
the crust a lot. So I
love
enjoy
just the
that
crust
first.
at the end.
I like it when it's as hot as
You eat a
possible.
side bite
The
first.
cheese is usually too hot. Like it's so meltony. But if you go with the bready crust part, you've got less cheese and sauce, so it doesn't burn your mouth as quickly.
Yes, Gonzo. Ben does not eat it from behind, Gonzo. He eats it from the side.
Look at the back
which
side.
is a different way to
corner.
eat it. The back corner fade is what you do.
That little tiny point never has more than like one topping on it. So you've got maybe like a piece of olive or something there. But if you had like 3 or 4 toppings, you don't get them all in that first bite anyway, because there's not enough room on the little point of the pizza.
I can honestly say I've never seen someone eat a pizza from the side.
Yeah.
I take it and I get that first bite, and then I just work down.
Your kids eat hot dogs from the side, which is even
That's
weirder.
true.
It depends.
I go
on the,
skinny to fat.
it
is how
depends
you
on
do
the
it.
pizza for me, but there's a good chance I'll have a side of ranch with my pizza.
Right.
I never was that guy growing up, and then I started pizza with ranch. So like I'll start because the top of the triangle, the point or whatever, it's so easy to dip that first bite.
Yeah,
and
and
get
then-
a little ranch, and then you work it down to the crust, and then it's like a breadstick to dip into the ranch.
Do you eat you bite your burrito in the middle first? Psychotic.
Ben eats like a corn on the cob.
Do you guys like when they like a breakfast burrito when they cut it in half? Because I really do. When they cut it at an angle.
Some people love that.
I love that because I can hold it and dip it. You know, you dip the corner again in.
Yeah.
But I don't. You don't. You get a
dip your burritos?
Yeah, if I'm dipping it in salsa.
See, now I always just pour
I
a
don't
little
do
bit
that.
of salsa
I like to
onto each bite.
I like to regulate.
See, I'll take the full burrito that's uncut. I'll take one bite without salsa to create a trough, and then I pour the
Do you
salsa.
prefer cut or uncut?
I prefer uncut because I want to make my own troughs with my mouth.
Save that. You eat it from the side, really?
Just a couple bites just to get it started. I love the warm crust of a pizza. And I don't see, like, Paulie, if you wait until the end,
Cole
you've
says,
got
"Good God."
you've got a breadstick, but it's kind of a cold breadstick at that point. It's no longer a hot breadstick. I like the hot crust.
Why do we wait till 9:50 for this? I'm certain I've eaten pizza with you before. I've never seen him. I would have said something if he took up
When
when
I'm with other company and I'm self-conscious, I may eat
You
it the
eat
normal
normal-
way.
normal.
But when I'm just doing it by myself, I turn it around and I eat it from the back corner crust first.
The back corner fade.
they're
the
all-
back corner fade is the perfect way
It's
to.
a triangle. They're all 3 points. What does it matter which point you
Well,
start with?
I don't know.
You're starting
I go skinny to fat.
You're starting at a point anyway. I just start with one of the other points.
It's really again the crust is used as a handle. It's a handle just
Well,
like the
and I
hook
don't eat
is.
I leave some of the crust as a handle. I don't eat all of the crust to begin with. I start at a corner, and then I
Once
work
you
my
make
way.
a thinner,
Then I work my way down to the point, and then I still have the handle at the end that I finish all the way back
I
up
need
the
to
other
see this
side.
now.
all right, extravaganza. Order a pizza, and I got to see this absolute menace. Eat this thing from the side. That is so good. How do you eat a square piece of pizza? You just crumble it up and throw it in your
Square
mouth.
is easy. You just eat it.
Crumble it up in a ball and throw it in your mouth. Oh, that was outstanding. Why again? 9:52. Did we have to wait for that? I could have done that all day.
I think we need to make a new rule. Pending if we have a guest or not, like we need to just start doing the topic with like 7:45
Every day, just to see
'Cause
if
it
some of that
carries us-
gold
it could
comes
carry
out.
us into 8:00. Like you're right.
Yeah, it was great.
A
That
lot
was
of
great.
mileage out of that one.
You prefer it uncut and to eat it from the side. Got it.
Uncut burrito. Yes.
Got it.
All right, that's it for us today.
My God.
Mercifully.
More of Sam Levitt and all the shows coming up live from baseball's winter meetings. Do not miss it. We will have them on tomorrow morning with any overnight developments as well from Orlando. For executive producer Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Monday from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So long, everybody.